In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, I don't know, roll your ass!
Yes, Mr. Warhorse. Thank you, Mr. Warhorse. Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit / Raw and Order Fantasy Booking Institute visit from the FBI. We're the only wrestling podcast on the planet that's so fucked up about what day it is that we're just doing both of them at once because we don't know. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I'm joined as always by my partners in crime fighting. Starting off, District Attorney Vince Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
Well, the other day I wasn't feeling very oozy, and so I apologize. But I'm back. I'm gonna be a little more oozy tonight.
I hope you are. I see you're wearing your Nebraska America's Belly Button shirt.
Yeah, I'm trying to be as oozy as possible. So
yeah, be oozy. Do you know? Apparently, and I think it's Tongan. Oozy is slang for female genital. So that's
fortunately in Samoan it means brother. So
no, Uso means brother.
Yes.
Usi, this is why they were breaking up. Is when he said he's not feeling very oozy. Is because in slang it means coochie.
Well,
anyways, also joining us, RCMP from up north, JLB. What's going on, man?
Reporting for duty. Halloween is done. That means it's time.
Duty.
And this is why I'm part of the RCMP and not the FBI, because hot diggity damn, we don't laugh at duty over here. We just do our duty.
You said it again.
You said duty twice.
Two duties. my daughter would go, duty, ew. Ew. Before we get in... Go ahead.
That's it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, before we get into all of the talking wrestling, that we're going to be doing both regular talking wrestling and fantasy booking because we just... We don't know what fucking day it is. I don't know.
Because it was Halloween, and some people have kids who have to bring their kids to Halloween and get prepared for that, and Halloween parties and whatnot. But we are here just like Mariah Carey's "Don't Want a Lot for Christmas."
Don't even say it. I will punch you.
I don't want a lot for Christmas.
There is just
there. Problem solved.
You're lucky I can't remember any of the rest of this.
Anyways, before I get into all of the talking wrestling that we're going to do, I'd like to remind everyone that if you like what you hear, you like what you see, make sure to click that follow button on Twitch so that you get notified when we go live. We go live usually twice a week. Usually.
Unless,
Sunday
Halloween
nights for... Sunday night for the wrestling booking unit, and then Tuesday night for our fantasy booking show. And we'd love to see you here for it, so follow it.
Probably for your gobble gobble. Your gobble gobble's coming up now.
Yeah, we're gonna have Turkey Day here in towards the end of the month.
Oh, is it?
But
it's the end of the month. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, it's always the third Thursday.
But
Thursday.
That particular Sunday after Gobble Gobble, I won't be here. I will be in Florida, baby.
Oh, you're me.
Well, I will probably
be
be flying back from Florida and need some sleep that night. I am going to go meet my friends Minerva and Mickey.
Nice.
Go to the world of Disney?
Yes.
Well, don't go to Disney. They're apparently all trapped in there because of COVID.
It's the happiest place on earth to die. Why would I worry about that?
It also, here's the deal. Like, we can go on and on about how Disney
You want to
World
die
or
surrounded by
Disneyland
screaming children?
or whatever, but it's got the fucking Star Wars area, right?
That's true.
I would spend the entire time there and then die a happy camper, right?
Hey, if you can't find a joyous place to die at Disney World, then
Yeah,
I don't know. Go to Cancun and take pictures of peacocks on the beach when nobody else is
and
there.
no people. 0 people on the beach. So, anyways,
I was trying to be
sure,
considerate. I didn't want to randomly take photos of people.
yeah,
I'm Canadian.
Of all of the nobody, literally 0 people.
Yes.
And zoomed out large photos where you're just like, hey, all of you people on the beach, I need you to move to the left.
But so, like I was saying, make sure to click the follow button if you're on Twitch. If you're watching one of the replays on YouTube or listening to it on a podcast, make sure to subscribe to it there.
What the fuck are you doing?
And then come on over to Twitch and follow us here. And, you know, if you happen to be an Amazon Prime member, you get a free subscription to any channel you want every month. So you could throw that subscription this way and help us out that way.
And then you don't have commercials. And you accumulate points faster.
You accumulate points faster, and you get access to our custom emotes that you can use in the chat.
Which I did my emotes, but I wanted it to be for everybody, and that didn't fucking work. So they're like, "I can't do it; it's locked." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, they only do custom emotes for everybody after you've had a channel for a certain amount of time, and also some other things. Anyways, got a shout out Big JC65. He used some points, some of the points. He cashed in some felonies to get a shout out.
Big JC65. Is that the number of years he's doing in wrestling? For his felonies?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. Sure is. Anyways, also because I am totally ADHD and probably worse now than ever, I have a problem. I have a big problem.
You do.
Oh, here we go. Jesus.
I've got 2 more action figures that I will be probably opening during the course of this.
Did you say auction figures? Can
Auction
our fans bid on these?
No,
auction figures.
We
can bid on them
to myself. No,
That
I said
would
it
make a
with
great
it was my
stream.
British accent. These 2 auction figures. And because my stores have stopped apparently stocking the Prisms and the Supremes or whatever they're called, Select Series. But I did come across a box of NXT 2.0 cards.
Ooh, we're gonna know nobody in there.
Yeah, well, we might know some of them. There's gonna be 90 though, because it's 6 packs, but there are 12 cards in each pack.
Oh Jesus. I mean, it might be the 5 that got fired. Who apparently were like only developed.
Yeah, there are 5. Yeah, here's the deal. I said this earlier. Oh no, Ambrosia saving her points for a no cursing ban. Fuckity fuck.
Fuck yeah.
However,
I did points for hydrate issue, pricks.
Sorry, man. Jeez.
Up there, you just didn't make a comment on it, prick.
What do you mean?
Comment
so
I see it.
Really? You don't just see it like that?
I don't see it in this chat. I have to go to the other chat to see the hydrate-ish. I have one chat up here, fucktard, and
we are like using all the swearing that we can.
Yeah, straight up.
Before Ambrosia says,
fuck
off,
okay.
fellas.
So hydrate. See, look at me now. Hydrate.
Ain't no stopping us now.
Yeah. But so what I was gonna say, we'll just get started on talking about stuff, and the 5 people released is at least something worth mentioning. I have to be honest with you.
I don't think anyone knows anybody on that list.
The only one that I kind of knew, there was a guy, he was in the Chase Academy, which was the group, what's the best word? Kind of frat group that had the guy, and he looked like he was a preppy at a college. Anyways, he was in that group, but he disappeared off TV like a month ago and was replaced by a different person in that group. And I think probably this is an example of them starting a policy that was at least proposed under the Vince regime, and may or may not have gone into effect under the Vince regime, which I think they called it 3 and up or 2 and up, something like that. And basically it just put a timetable.
Like a probation period. Yeah.
Well, it said, you're in NXT for a certain amount of time, and if during that time we don't see you progressing to a point that we feel like we could call you up to the main roster, we're going to cut you. Right? And so I don't feel as angry about these cuts. Not just because they're, like you were saying, nobodies or whatever, but because they weren't given a reason like, oh, these are budget cuts while we make record profits.
This was you suck.
This was you haven't been progressing, you haven't been meeting your goals. And let's be honest, all 3 of us work jobs where if we get notes that say you're not meeting the goals that we've set for you, we risk being let go from it, right? On top of it, this is a chance for these people to potentially go off and do something with themselves, right?
I think it was fucking Elon's fault. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, fuck Elon. Anyways. Don't get me started. I did math on Elon's fucking pay to be.
I know you did.
Thing.
You posted it all on Facebook, and I'm like,
yeah.
I wonder if he did this math or he just took it from somewhere.
I
think I would have respected you more if you took it from somewhere.
Nope. I did it all myself because I'm like,
man, this guy has time. This guy has time.
it's anyways, I'm not gonna get into it.
I can't. I'm not gonna. Between the Elon bullshit and the Kanye bullshit, I'm just fucking fed up.
I mean, the Elon thing. I'll just say this: Elon's not a good businessman. He's not.
No, nobody who invests in Twitter is a good business person.
No, but even before that, Tesla makes $0 on the stuff they sell. Tesla is only in business because of federal government subsidies for electric vehicles. That's it. If Tesla had to stand on its own without subsidies and just sell the vehicles, it would be under. It would have been under years ago. Makes $0. It exists entirely on subsidies from the government, right? SpaceX exists entirely based on government contracts, right? Makes $0.
Sure as fuck doesn't feel like it when you pay for fucking that shit.
Starlink is based out of SpaceX, but it's technically its own business. Guess what he did recently with Starlink? He went to the government and said, "Hey, you guys should pay me for Starlink because I've been letting you guys use it, and then letting the Ukrainian people use it. Oh, by the way, I know you're already paying me for that, but I think you should pay me more for it, because I'm not making money off Starlink." Right? He makes $0 from any of the businesses that he owns, except for government subsidies. Right? He's not a businessman. He's a welfare
he went
queen.
He went and found the biggest bidder, which is always the fucking government.
He's a welfare queen, is what he is.
Sure.
I mean, can't hate on him though. He's still, not saying he's a great.
Oh, he can hate on him. Smarks can hate on anybody.
Oh, yeah, I can hate on him. Living off the government teeth.
Yeah.
Anywho's, but no, this is a chance for these 5 people who were cut, to go off and prove themselves on the Indies or in Impact Wrestling or whatever. Show up on AEW Dark.
On in their lives.
Or move on in their lives. Yeah. Figure out that this might not be for them. I give 2 examples, right? Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Both of them had high-profile WWE runs pre-NXT's heyday, right? Both of them WWE cut, deciding that they weren't the material that they wanted. They were working out. Both of them went off to do other things. Bobby Lashley, MMA for a while, and then Impact Wrestling and the Indies. Drew McIntyre, the Indies, and then Impact Wrestling. Both of them eventually proved themselves on the Indies and in Impact Wrestling enough that they eventually came back to WWE and now are legitimately headlining pay-per-views, right? I mean, Bobby Lashley's in a program with Brock Lesnar right now.
That it probably is the most exciting program on pro wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Barring the Elite's promo.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
We'll get to the Elite promo. I had to force myself. I got a list on my phone. See the list there? Things I wanted to talk about. I came prepared. But I had to force myself to try to offset the AEW related ones a bit because AEW stuff I want to talk about. So, anyways, but so this is a chance for them to hopefully get better, or better their lives in some
Bless
way.
you.
And again,
Thank you.
wasn't. They weren't told some BS excuse about we're cutting the budget or whatever. They were told, "Hey, listen, it's not working out. You know, we truly wish you the best in your future endeavors, right?" And they'll sit out the 30-day NXT, no compete, and then they'll show up. I guarantee you'll see one or two of them on AEW Dark within the next 6 months.
Right.
Period. And some like
And some
like
of them
Fabe
will
said,
completely
some
move
of
on
them will
from
just say,
professional wrestling.
yeah, I'm done with professional wrestling.
Or sports entertaining.
So, so I do truly wish them all the best. I hope, I hope they figure out what's best for them, what their best situation is. But let's move on. One of the things, well, kind of talking about AEW Dark, we talked about it on FBI last week. I wanted to get JLB's thoughts on it, because I think this week even shows it even more. I think AEW is relying too much on non-signed indie talent on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, when they could instead be using their lower card roster to actually create storylines on it. And I know there are some storylines that go on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. We talked about them last week and everything. But give me 1 second because I was going to pull up the AEW Twitter page because I did last week to talk about it. So AEW Dark this week featured, if I can find the announcement, Tony Storm versus Diamante, right? That's a name with two signed talent, right? But it also had, you gotta find the whole tweet with all of them in it. Dean Alexander versus Kip Sabian. Leva Bates versus Nyla Rose. That's legitimately a signed wrestler, so that's a 2. Marina Shafir versus Kennedy Copeland. John Cruz versus Danhausen. Dante Martin versus Encore. Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony versus Fuego del Sol and Waves and Curls, right?
Well, Fuego's signed.
Fuego is signed. Waves and Curls is not, right? And I just think that, we talk about AEW's roster being bloated, that they've got a lot of people on the roster and that they're not using all the people and blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. And we usually say, hey, listen, they only have 3 hours of TV time a week, and Dark doesn't really count and all this stuff. And I appreciate Dark for using indie talent.
That could be the way to make Dark count.
But having more real talent on it. You know, Marina Shafir could be taking on.
Well, that's not fair though. Like, well, who is it? Willow. Willow came from Dark, you know, and now
Willow
she's
did come.
officially signed.
I'm not saying that they wouldn't have any unsigned talent, but I'm saying this week is slightly better than last week. Last week on AEW Dark, they had 9 matches and only one of them featured both signed talent. The rest of them were glorified squash matches, which you hate.
Well, and so I'll go ahead and say, so what? So what if it's not fair? They have yet another program called Dark Elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Making a YouTube channel is, well, relatively easy. In fact, 3 schmucks from North America were able to pull it off. Now, not at my doing. I'm not technically sound. But they already have 2 of them going, so I'm guessing they could probably figure out yet another one and have it in some way, shape, or form feature these up-and-comers, maybe in their own matches that were on, Zello Pro or Major League or somebody who doesn't have a TV contract.
Yeah. And so
I think that's maybe where they're going to go with it, though.
Well, they're not showing any signs of it right now.
Well, no, but I mean, because at the end of the day, it's YouTube, right? So they can have as many matches as they want on Dark Elevation or Dark as they essentially want. If anything, I would say, because I originally was going to mention that maybe they don't have a lot of their superstars on Dark or Dark Elevation because they don't want their superstars to get maybe.
How dare you? They don't have superstars. They have wrestlers.
Yeah, superstars is for that sports entertainment shit.
My bad.
No, but here's the deal. If you're trying to set up Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony as the next, stars, Brian Cage has a match for the Ring of Honor TV title tomorrow night. It's not midnight yet. Tomorrow night. Dante Martin they've set up as a star over the time, or an up-and-comer, and then they have him fighting nobody. Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony are fighting Fuego, who's a glorified jobber, which is fine. We need jobbers, right? There are other jobbers on the actual roster they could have used instead of Waves and Curls. John Cruz versus Danhausen, right? Was a glorified squash match. It had a little bit more than just a squash to it. I actually watched it right before the show because I wanted to see this. I had heard something about it. Danhausen got beat on Elevation by QT Marshall. Danhausen came out to this and was angry, and we saw an angry side of Danhausen. And it's kind of, we've talked a little bit about how that's what we wanted from Danhausen, was kind of a switch, you know what I mean? Where he goes from goofy Danhausen to
Ooh, I'm gonna check that
angry
out.
Danhausen. It's still basically
Jokey?
Well, it kind of starts as jokey and then he gets angrier as it goes. But
This is Dark or Dark Elevation?
Dark. It's the one that just aired tonight. It's the first match. You can't miss it. Starts off with it. It's still only like a 5-minute, 6-minute match, something like that. So it's really short. John Cruz gets a little bit of shots in, and then Danhausen kind of destroys him and then looks angry, right? But they could have had someone else. Sean Dean, who's signed, could have done it.
Sonny Kiss
could have done it. Here. Just come to the AEW roster. Alex Reynolds could have done it. He's signed and would have been just fine doing it. And Helico is signed and could have done it because they're not doing anything else with him. Ari Daivari is signed and could have done it. Either of the Bear Country, which they've changed their name. I can't remember what they're under now. Anyways.
John Cruz has Sami Zayn mannerisms. He's like an older Sami Zayn.
Blake Christian signed and they haven't done anything with him. Brock Anderson. Fucking let Danhausen destroy Brock Anderson. He's boring as fuck. Christopher Daniels, right?
Fuck yeah,
Danhausen
let
destroying
Danhausen
Christopher
destroy
Daniels
Chris Daniels.
would really build
Don't you dare.
Danhausen up, right?
No,
We're
don't
not
use
like they're
anybody but
using him.
Christopher Daniels.
Cole
Just to piss me
Carter.
off.
Cole Carter they're using. The former Caleb with a K. I'm scrolling down. Darius Martin's out injured. Evil Uno, right? But this would be a perfect thing to do with Danhausen, have him destroy the members of Dark Order, right? Griff Garrison is signed. Have Danhausen beat him. DFA would like it for Jay Lethal, right? They have him in a program right now, so they're not going to do that right now.
Unfortunately, Jay Lethal's seen as a bigger star than.
Yeah, well, and he's in a big program. Lee Johnson, not to be confused with Lee Moriarty, who's in the firm. Lee Johnson, they could do. Luther, yeah. Serpentico, I
Luther.
haven't gotten to that. But Serpentico, definitely. Matt Sydal. Peter Avalon.
Pretty Peter Avalon is too pretty to beat.
And I mean, will it really do anything for Danhausen? I feel like everybody beats Peter Avalon. He's a great wrestler, but he really hasn't been.
Everybody beats
utilized
John
well.
Cruz too, because he's fucking unsigned. They're not gonna have an unsigned wrestler win against a signed wrestler. We already know that, right?
If they do, they're getting signed soon.
Yeah, so we knew going into this that Danhausen was gonna win because it was against John Cruz, right? On Elevation, when it was Danhausen versus QT Marshall, we didn't know that could go either way.
Right.
So if it had been Danhausen versus Cole Carter, I would have been like, well, I don't know. Are they building Cole Carter up? Danhausen versus Griff Garrison. Maybe they're going to try to make Griff Garrison a big deal again. I don't know. Maybe they've decided they have faith in him. There's suspense to it. And then having him destroy Griff Garrison doesn't hurt Griff Garrison because he's already kind of seen as that anyways. But it does elevate Danhausen, right? But this didn't elevate Danhausen. It was still fun to watch. I get it, but it didn't elevate. Marina Shafir beating up on Kennedy Copeland doesn't help Marina Shafir in any way, shape, or form.
Really doesn't help Kennedy Copeland, other than
No.
that she got some TV time.
Yeah. The only way it would help either of them is if Kennedy Copeland got a win, which we know is not going to happen. So it doesn't help anyone. Kip Sabian beating Dean Alexander. And again, like I said, I appreciate AEW turned to the indies during the height of the pandemic to help out when they couldn't get all of their wrestlers to travel. When they needed people in the crowd, they would fill it with wrestlers and all that stuff. I get all of that. And I'm not saying they should get rid of it entirely. But right now, out of 7 matches on AEW Dark, there were 2 of them that featured exclusively signed wrestlers. And if you count Fuego, 3 matches. That's still less than 33% of the matches.
We also calculated out that AEW actually has more people on its televised roster, than WWE has on their televised roster, which is astonishing. 5 hours versus 3. And we were counting NXT's televised NXT. We're not counting non-televised NXT.
Yep. So, anyway, that's kind of my thing. I just think that
I see what you mean in terms of also entertainment value. When you see somebody is going against a nobody, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to win. I think we even had that issue. Just when it started, because it was really just
like here's a perfect example. They keep wanting us to watch AEW Dark, right? And then they give us these matches, which don't give us a reason to watch AEW Dark. None of these matches further a storyline for anybody.
Facts are.
Well, the Nyla one kind of did because she was talking shit about Jade during the matchup.
Talking shit doesn't further a storyline unless Jade showed up and tried to get her belt back, and then Nyla ran away with the belt. That furthers the storyline.
Okay.
Or unless Leva Bates came out saying, hey, listen, I'm one of the executives backstage, you know, you can't just be taking someone's belt and running away with it. You need to give it back. And then Nyla did something. That would then be part of the storyline, right? But in this case, it was just a match between two people that Nyla then talked a little bit about Jaden. And that's kind of my point. You know, if you started using actual signed wrestlers, these could be part of storylines, right? And building people, which would give people a reason to watch AEW Dark, because one of the few comments that I do agree with from WWE marks about AEW is that they're just like, listen, they just like to put on good wrestling matches and not do storylines, right? WWE does better storylines. And I don't think WWE does better storylines, but every single fucking match on any of their main shows is somehow storyline related. Sometimes they do the same match 14 times because that's the only way they can keep that storyline going, right? But this would be a way to make AEW Dark and potentially Dark Elevation part of the storyline and something that people actually want to watch. And then you could have, you know, Excalibur saying, if you didn't turn into AEW Dark yesterday, Nyla Rose refused Leva Bates' attempt to get back the belt for Jade Cargill and destroyed her, and then talk smack about Jade Cargill, right? And it plays into the storyline. And then people are like, oh, something actually happened on Dark Elevation that plays into the storyline. I should watch it from now on. And then it becomes something that you can do. Now, again, I'm not saying they eliminate indie wrestlers entirely, but again, I don't think it
They
should
can at least
be...
add a little bit more to the.
I mean, here's the deal: the people who are getting squashed by Omos are indie wrestlers.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's not like we don't get
There's still
indie
room
wrestlers
for it.
on Dynamite, right?
There's still room for it,
Yeah.
but it's not. It shouldn't be the foundation of your product on that when you have a roster that size in particular.
Because here, let's look here at Dynamite last week. This is right, October 26th, right? So, signed versus signed. Apparently, they've started calling the backstage position that Renee Paquette stands the Mongo position. I had not heard them calling that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
yeah.
okay. Sure.
Named
mean,
after
that's
Steve
great
Mongo
homage to Steve
McMichael.
McMichael.
Yeah, apparently.
Which is awesome.
I knew they
Kudos to that. I just didn't hear it.
They previously had called the main position backstage the Dusty position because of Dusty Rhodes.
Right.
But yeah, so on Rampage, Serpentico, he's signed, but he's effectively a jobber, you know, wrestled. And so they still have indie wrestlers occasionally on the main shows. It's not like I'm saying they get rid of indie wrestlers entirely on it. I'm just saying they start using them smarter and using their signed wrestlers a little smarter. You know.
No,
Anyways.
I wouldn't mind that. And especially since, you know, you don't really have a time frame with your Elevation or Dark. Sure, yes, it's only an hour or 2 hours after Dynamite or something like that. So you do have a limited play, and depending on what you do on thing, but whatever, they could plan it and time it right. I do agree.
Elevation, last I heard, was still being filmed at Orlando.
Oh, snap. Yes. Okay.
So they filmed that separately anyways. Can do whatever the fuck they want on it.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess it also just depends what wrestlers wear during Dynamite or Rampage, or Dynamite and Rampage are generally the same place anyways. So yeah, I guess that would depend, but essentially.
So here's Dark Elevation. Diamante versus Madison Rain. Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends versus Anthony Young, Victor Andrews, and Patton. Danhausen versus QT Marshall. So that's 2 out of those. Kazarian versus Rhett Titus. Jade Cargill versus Trisha Dora. Kiera Hogan versus Sky Blue. So that's 3. 3 out of 6 that were announced. Oh, Athena versus I can't read the full thing. July Kai, I think. Brandon Cutler versus Dante Martin. That's 4. Kingston Ortiz versus Keller and Hawkins. So 4 of the 9 matches were signed. That's better than it was last week. But that still means more than 50% of them were against unsigned wrestlers. Anyways, let's move on to the next thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Bloodline promo. I know DA Fabe.
Oh, look who's being a little oozy.
Yep, he's feeling a little oozy now. In a total aside from the promo earlier, my favorite thing was later on in the night when Sami Zayn's like, well, I'm feeling a little bit hungry, so I'm thinking maybe after this we'll go to Waffle House, Waffle, and Jey Uso just suddenly sitting up, like all you had to do was mention Waffle House, and he forgot everything he was angry about. He was like, oh, yeah,
I like Waffle House. We can be best friends now, man.
I'm no longer angry at you if you want to take me to Waffle House.
I'll be a little oozy. How's it going? Waffle House it is.
I mean, it's fair. You know, there are very few people I wouldn't go to Waffle House with, you know. Like, yep.
Yeah, I just feel like
I've
walls
had
come down
waffles,
at Waffle House. Once you've degraded yourself to that level, you just have to accept the fact that you're at Waffle House and who you're with doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
You're at the lowest level of the totem pole in life. And it's wonderful.
The Daily Show had a segment where Roy Woods took Trevor Noah to Waffle House. And they're standing outside, and he's like, okay, let's go in. And no, we can't go in yet. What do you mean? It's 2 a.m. I came here. I want to get some waffles. No, the fights ain't started yet. Can't go inside till the fights start. That's half the reason you come. Anyways, no, the promo itself, like,
that was gold.
Even outside of the breaking, which the breaking was really fun, you know. But
I feel like they knew, and he still delivered it so well that the breaking didn't.
Even outside of the breaking, though, the scene where Jay goes, man, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief says, and Roman just
pops up.
He's like, what's that here?
That was the look that my dad gave when I cussed in front of him for the first time. You know.
Oh, some bitch wants to die up in here.
And I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. This is good.
The man has come so fucking far.
So far.
So incredibly far.
I came across a video of him. This was on Raw yesterday. After he did his thing in the ring, he's walking out the ring, and he's still talking as he's walking up the ramp. Talking to the fans, talking things, but still delivering a promo. This is the guy who, just a few years ago, in the ring with John Cena, couldn't think of what to say.
Forgot his line. Yep.
Forgot his line, then couldn't think of anything. Couldn't
think of something to make up for the line.
Yeah.
Forgetting the line.
Couldn't improv.
What if I told you, though, that he necessarily didn't come so far? They just fucked him up on the main roster. Because when Roman Reigns appeared in NXT or even FCW before and then NXT, he was technically a heel. And he was doing great promo work. And I've watched the WWE Evil episode with Roman in it. So sure, they're saying a certain narrative. Yeah. But from what they showed us from his work at NXT, he seemed like he actually had it. It's just he didn't really know how to be a good guy, and that was just kind of forced upon him.
He, multiple times in interviews over the years, said that he didn't want to be a heel because he wanted to be the inspiration for people. So I don't think it was WWE fucking it up so much with him for so long as him hamstringing himself so long. And that's part of the he's come a long way, is that he came to realize what he's good at. Right?
Oh, okay.
I'm opening a pack while we talk because I
figured with all the rummaging. The
Rummaging?
rummaging of the plastic.
The
Grummaging.
The
Rummaging. What's wrong
grummaging.
with rummaging?
These aren't nearly as fancy as the Prisms or the Supremes or Select or whatever.
But they're not worth fancy. They're
Um,
not main roster yet.
oh, hey.
They're schisms.
Speak of the devil.
Sami Zayn.
You're not going to be able to see the name because the names are so small, maybe. Bodie Hayward is one of the people released today. The very first card I pull is one of the released people. He was the one I was talking about that was part of Chase U. And then just randomly disappeared. Wolfgang. NXT UK, which doesn't exist anymore.
I was going to say, is he still with the company technically?
Wolfgang.
He does.
Wolfgang
Very
is
much
still
so.
is, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I will send this to DA Fabe.
Hi. Hey, Nikita. How you doing? Soon to be NXT Women's Champion at some point. I feel like they're pushing her to the moon.
To the moon.
Here's who the fuck is this? Ulysia Leon.
You can send me that one too. I'm not discriminating.
Known or unknown, it don't matter to Fabe.
One member of Pretty Deadly.
Oh.
Wilson.
Go ahead and send me that one too.
Any gender. Fabe's got you covered.
Zaya Brookside.
I think you should send him the whole pack at this rate.
At this rate, I probably will end up. Isla Dawn.
I don't want that one.
Too bad it's coming.
So will I. What?
Lash Legend.
She's really entertaining. And not in that way.
A grizzled young veteran.
Nice.
I love that tag team. They're so fun.
Who the fuck is Eddie Dennis? Don't know, but there he is. NXT UK, so.
Trying to do a Razor's Edge or some shit.
Yeah. Duke Hudson. Coming up soon on Chase cards.
Does this mean you could also you only can get NXT 2.0 superstars though? Right? You can't get like old NXT.
You will see shortly that you can get old NXT. This is Indy Hartwell, NXT 2.0.
Are you going to have a Wade
This
Barrett?
is Shayna Baszler,
Oh, there you
NXT
go.
Black
Nice.
and Gold.
Perfect. So much better in NXT.
She's not bad
Although-
now. She's just poorly booked.
Yeah,
This
well, that's what I mean. She was better
Is an
booked.
Io Shirai, NXT 2.0.
Oh, all right.
Io
Sky.
Shirai. Nope,
She
nope.
must have been
Io
cut.
Shirai. It says it right on there.
She must have been cut.
And NXT champion at the time, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, nice. So you can get older NXT. Nice.
Sure can. Those last two are gold cards. So they've got a little bit of gold to them. I think that's...
Because they've held titles.
No.
I was just
think,
thinking because of NXT Gold brand.
Well, no, because the other
Black and
NXT
gold.
gold is not gold. So I think it's
okay.
just that's their chase, one of their chase cards variants is that. So, anyways, back to talking about the Sammy promo. Bloodline promo.
Honestly, best thing in wrestling, though. Sammy just keeps killing it every week. I don't appreciate Vince Russo finally realizing it. Not that I give a shit about what Vince Russo realizes and who he gives kudos to. I'm happy Sami Zayn has blocked him ages ago and realized that he couldn't talk to him. And I'm sad for even bringing this up because I don't think Vince Russo deserves a time and place anywhere. But F you, Vinny Roo, because God damn it, Sami Zayn been good and you've been outdated for a hot minute, and it is what it is. I have to get that off my chest. I digress now.
Apparently.
Okay. I think what's really going to be good with this is seeing how it plays out, because we know eventually there's going to be a turn. And
but you can't even predict where it's at.
Yeah, we don't know who.
Well, because KO was supposed to get involved, though, right? You saw that rumor. KO was supposed to get involved,
but rumors we see rumors all the time. We saw rumors 6 months ago that Sasha Banks was going to show up.
She apparently is still signed, though,
but she didn't show up. So there were rumors. They said,
that was
they
confirmed that she was supposed to this week, though. That's interesting.
But rumors happen.
Rumor
whatever.
has it. Well, KO's supposed to get involved, but apparently that's been backtracked. And KO was supposed to do something with Sammy to screw over the bloodline, which we kind of were thinking maybe 3-4 weeks ago, when Sammy and Jimmy had that little fight. Is it Jimmy or Jay? Jimmy.
Jay.
Jimmy had that. Jay had that fight. But yeah, I'm excited, dude. Once KO gets involved with that, it's just going to be nonstop jokes for like.
So is that your active prediction that it's going to be with KO?
Yeah, it's got to be with KO.
My active prediction, I'm changing it up on you, and I might be wrong. I'm saying it's Solo.
It could be Solo. And here's the deal: they've been setting stuff up. Solo in interviews has said that he had not talked to Roman Reigns in like 20 years prior to him being called up to the main roster to join the Bloodline, right?
They could easily be setting that up. That's a good call.
They could easily be setting that up. It easily could be Jay turning. They hinted at it this week. I don't give a damn what the tribal chief says. Jay, always could be the one who's like, nope, it's my turn.
He's also the one who's had a title shot prior.
So, and it could be Sammy. It could be KO's joining in, or it could be not. Who knows? I think KO's still got some business on Raw to take care of, because we saw Elias come out today, and then Matt Riddle was dressed as Ezekiel. So, obviously, there's still unfinished business with Ezekiel.
Fucking Riddle.
Side note, right? Riddle dressing as Ezekiel is one thing, but can we all take a moment to appreciate Alpha Academy dressing as SNL Chippendale sketch Patrick Swayze and Chris Farley?
That was hilarious.
Bravo.
That was awesome.
They even did part of the dance when they came down. It was excellent.
I mean, part of me... I don't know if the younger generation would have.
I don't care about the younger generation. I'm not part of them.
I know. That's fair. But I mean, like, pulling a Chris Farley thing out, like, I'm like, Jesus.
Chris Farley is fucking timeless, and if the younger generation doesn't know him,
they should.
Then that's their problem, not mine.
He's fat shaming people. That's what
he's fat shaming. No, that's fair. But yeah, it was and we got to see freaking Otis do the worm. That's always fun. Always fun to see. It was a nice little throwback.
And Otis, ended up wearing a pumpkin on his head. That always happens on the Halloween episode.
Of course it does, yeah.
Yeah.
I always wonder if they make sure to take out the pumpkin seeds before they place all the pumpkins.
I think it's entirely a fake pumpkin. I think it's made out of foam.
You think it's made out of foam? I think it's rigged. I don't think it's made out of foam.
Nope, I think it's made out of foam. If you watch the ones yesterday, look at them. They look like a store-bought foam pumpkin.
Hollow
which you
foam.
can buy, hollow foam pumpkins. You can buy them at the stores all around here in America. I don't know up
Okay.
in Canada. Maybe they don't do them up there, but around here, they're hollow. They sometimes have lights built into them so that us lazy Americans don't have to carve our own pumpkin. We can just buy fucking pumpkins with already jack-o'-lanterns carved in them.
Damn.
I'm like 99% certain it was a foam pumpkin.
I thought you were going to say I'm 99% certain I have a few in my house.
No. I don't have any fucking place to put them.
Says the guy who has a whole wrestling auction figure.
Do you know how big foam pumpkins are?
Well, I mean, I would assume you choose your size, just like normal pumpkins.
Yeah, but here's the deal: like the regular foam pumpkins, like all of those action figures take up the space of like 3 of them, right? Nah, man, I ain't got the room for those. I got other shit.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for
Nobody
that.
got time for that. That's fair.
Anyway,
Back up. Sorry.
It was what it was. You know, it was a match to put over Riddle.
Yeah.
And Elias out there, I guess. Now that Randy Orton's not there, they have to team Riddle up with someone.
Any news on Randy, by the way?
Last I read, Randy Orton may not ever wrestle again.
Shit.
He's dealing with a back injury that is being way more problem than they thought it was going to be. And they're to the point that they're like, we're not even sure this might be a career-ending injury. That's the last I saw. So, anyways, also on SmackDown, we had Bray Wyatt talk, and he got interrupted by, I guess,
finally,
it's supposed to be
Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy, in person form, not just a mask form, but like an actual person talking. And so I wanted to talk a little. There's lots of speculation as to who it could be. There's lots of people. There's
It
lots
was
of people.
Bray.
Yeah. There's lots of people reading way too much into some of the things.
Well, what about the earring thing with the cross?
No, the earring thing with the cross. Yeah, that means it's both. Oh, but he's wearing the same type of contacts that fucking Malachi Black wears on AEW. So now it's got to be Malachi Black,
I didn't
right?
read that. I didn't read that one. That one's a bit far-fetched. Okay.
No, people pointed that one out. They're like, there's just proof that and of course I had to go in the comments and be like, you realize 2 days ago Malachi Black posted a promo on TikTok that featured all of the other members of House of Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Julia Hart, 2 of whom are still active on AEW right now, and one of whom is still signed to AEW. And oh, by the way, Malachi Black's still officially signed to AEW, right? It's not him. But they're like, oh, but look at his contacts, just like it. Like, fuck off.
Okay, so we wanted to put creepy contacts in?
Yeah. Oh, it looks like there's only like one person in the world who's allowed to wear creepy contacts.
Sorry. Oh, no. Here, it's obviously Rey Mysterio who wears creepy contacts, too.
He does. Oh, my goodness. It's obviously Rey.
It's got to be Rey Mysterio.
Gotta be Rey Mysterio.
It's got to be Rey Mysterio.
I mean,
I feel
who
like
is
that
that
should be a
jumping
new
out
thing.
the sky? R-E-Y, Mysterio. Here we go.
We'll know for
Similar
certain
to Rey
this
Mysterio song.
Friday when Uncle Howdy says booyaka, booyaka.
Booyaka, booyaka.
I'm from San Diego.
The-
Booyaka, booyaka. San Diego, California.
66619.
Yeah. I think it probably was actually played by Bray. I think it was actually played by Bray. I think.
Well, I mean, it sounded like Bray.
eventually. Yeah.
It sounded like
I think eventually it might be Bo Dallas, right?
I
We've
think
I mean,
heard
it could
rumors
also
about
be
him coming
Bo's
back.
head.
I mean, I'm
that
sure
that's a
Bo knows how to
video
do his
character.
brother's voice.
I think it's a video character that's a dive into Bray's head.
Yeah, I think that's
I don't think it's one of the characters of Bray. It could be the abusive person in his past. This is what it came across as to me. It's the abusive person in his past that caused him to think that there was a fiend in the woods that came to kind of get after him and then consumed him.
The whole psychiatric ward thing, right? He was in a
There
psychiatric ward.
It's a beautiful
blah, blah, blah.
crossover of the two characters having this,
Feed your
this
head.
abusive uncle around.
there was
He's
literally
feeding
people
your head, blah blah blah.
trying to post that it was Barry Windham.
Deceased Barry Windham?
Yeah. I was like, right.
Oh Jesus!
Or Kendall Windham. Like, well, I mean, it's not. It's just not. It's not. It really isn't, people.
Those people are obviously just trolling though. Like, come on now.
It's obviously Tessa Blanchard.
I think they're obviously just stupid. Is what it is.
It's obviously his wife. What's her name? JoJo.
JoJo definitely played that character.
Yes, definitely JoJo. It's their bait.
Definitely JoJo. It's
While I was watching it, in no way, shape, or form did I think it was any other person than Bray Wyatt. Where they're going with it, well, fuck.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
at the
needless.
beginning of Firefly Funhouse, did you expect a sharp-toothed clown to be the end of it?
Yeah, I legitimately I think it was played by Bray at that time. Do I think it's setting up to be Bray in the end? I think they're going to swerve us, and eventually it's going to be played by Bo Dallas. That's what I think. But
I think it's going to be a video-only character.
I think it's going to eventually. I think this Wyatt Six thing is eventually going to be played by people.
But I don't think that's a member of the Wyatt Six.
I think that is one of the six.
That is the Wyatt Six. Yeah. I think all these characters we're seeing is part of his Wyatt Six thing. Whether it's just all him and he's feeding his own head, hence the feed your head bullcrap, or it's played by all different characters.
The idea that we are talking about it and speculating on where it's going, creating
great.
It's great. Now less anticipated week to week. I have to see what happens in television event is a huge deal. The last time that a television show intrigued all of its viewers this way was probably Game of Thrones, I would say, in a week-to-week episodic adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, something that was that way that was on basic cable was probably what's the methamphetamine one?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Those are probably the last two that caused that level of week-to-week anticipation, other than Mass Singer or something like that.
Well, I would argue that the last time Bray returned was
okay.
up there with this, but because I
causing
remember
week-to-week anticipation. I'm not saying, and it's only for its regular viewers. I'm not saying people are tuning in just because of Bray.
I remember when Bray first came back as the Firefly Funhouse Bray, we had the same sorts of conversations that we're doing right now. And so it's great.
We all went, I'm going to watch just to see the promos.
So it is indeed great. It is something to be happy about. It is something good going on.
But I literally only watch SmackDown for Sami and Bloodline and Bray. What is Bray gonna do? You know what I mean? That's my go-to. Same thing with Raw. I kind of watched because of the whole Miz and Gargano and Loomis storyline, and that got kind of weird. But
Gargano blew the whistle.
He blew the whistle.
You see this I'm wearing around my neck? You know why I wear a whistle around my neck? It's a metaphor. But I may actually blow the whistle on you.
Did he say last night I fell asleep?
He did.
He played audio.
He guesstimated, and he played audio.
Yeah, he played audio of him proving that Miz hired Dexter to attack him to get, I don't know, sympathy or get on TV more or
because he's
something.
A celebrity, and that's what celebrities do to get more fame.
Yeah,
blah blah blah. It's a bit weird.
Then,
I didn't like where it went.
But then he stopped paying Dexter, and so now Dexter's out for him actually, because
or he failed to pay the bill.
Yes,
I did like the WWE Investigates segment though. That was kind of cool, and Byron Saxton doing it.
Yeah, set up like a 60 minutes program.
Yeah.
Here's the deals. I'm liking the backstage stuff with Johnny Gargano. I just wish they gave him more wrestling stuff to do, but
mostly because he's Johnny
Fucking Gargano.
fucking
Johnny
wrestling. His last name is Wrestling.
I think they're
Gargano's
waiting
his
until
stage
after
name.
Crown Jewel, though. I think that's what they're doing at this point.
Oh.
After Crown Jewel, we're building Survivor Series. Gargano's going to be one of our guys. Let's
Gargano
to lead up into it.
Yeah,
Gargano.
Johnny Gargano.
Gargoyle.
Here's the other WWE thing that has had me super duper excited, and yesterday got me even more excited because we got to see Trips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trips has been an active part of the show over the last couple weeks.
Physically came out to say that if Brock and Bobby touch each other again, the match will be off.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
When it's the going home show for Crown Jewel, I'm like,
it absolutely is. But I am amped for. I mean, I can say that if there was a match that Smarks would watch Crown Jewel for on the card this year, that's the one.
It would be up there. I think the biggest thing is I've been saying for years that WWE really needs an authority figure of some sort. I'm not saying necessarily a heel authority figure or even a face
just
authority
somebody who
figure.
comes out and you're like, oh, that's that person.
Somebody who's in charge.
Well,
I think AEW could use an actual on-screen authority figure, right?
Yes.
Someone whose storyline-wise is in charge. And I know they play with kayfabe a lot, about Tony Khan's making these Tony Khan's booking, but he's not an active on-screen character. I think if they made a character and they said this is the guy who's in charge of booking the matches,
I think they have the perfect guy.
a gentleman, maybe
a
even,
lord,
maybe even a lord.
Yes.
The only reason I don't want that is I really don't want the flirting between him and Excalibur to stop. I want that on my show every week.
and you kind of can't have him turn on the Combat Club on Full Gear when he joins
that's
MJF.
easy to
baby.
set up that falling apart. You have Daniel Garcia join the Combat Club, then you have him and Bryan Danielson and Moxley and Wheeler Yuta kind of come together. Claudio Castagnoli might be a part of it, but he's not really. He's going to be more of a ROH person, obviously. I feel like
Wheeler's going to be the ROH person, actually.
Well, considering Daniel Garcia is currently a Ring of Honor champion,
Yeah.
okay. So I mean, there's plenty of ways to break that up.
Yeah.
The primary of which is Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
yes.
Well, but I think Regal's literally
How the
gonna
cards
turn.
fall doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then all you have to
I'm
do is have
definitely
Regal pick a
excited for
side.
Mm-hmm. Listen, as long as he's still,
at blood and guts. I mean, Full Gear.
as long as he still hits on fucking Excalibur, I'm fine.
Excalibur.
Your wealth of knowledge is just
That's all that matters to me.
beautiful. Son.
Opened up another pack because I was bored. Tiffany Stratton.
Bored of your own show, are you?
I have
Send me that one.
ADHD and it's undiagnosed and untreated, so fuck you. Tony D'Angelo. Who the fuck is Kenny Williams? Don't know.
That's Kenny Williams.
I don't know how to pronounce her first name, so I'm just gonna say Valkyrie. You've seen her name before.
Oi, Valkyrie. I think it's iffy.
Well, this shows that these were printed after they changed her name from Kylie Ray to Alba Fire. I don't know who Primate is, but there he is.
He was a UK.
UK.
Side note, on the name change thing, I feel like that was a fun little dig about changing Sammy's name. Where Robin runs the place, and so he's going to change Sammy's name.
Yeah, he's going to be Sammy Oos.
Uso.
Joe Coffey.
Play Joe Coffey's music.
No. Joe Henry's music. Joe Gacy.
Play Joe Gacy's music. Nope, still.
What's her name? Ava Rain. Like, guys.
Oh, well, we'll talk about Ava Rain here in a bit. First, we'll talk about the fact they got a Triple H card.
We are NXT.
How about
Ilya Dragunov?
Yes, sir.
Ilya Dragunov. God, just give me a chop fest between him and Walter again.
Tiger Turan.
Rawr.
Ivy Nile.
Go back to Tiger. Rawr.
I'd be down to do a watch along of that match again.
Oh,
JLB would be down to have this card.
Yes. Damn right. NXT Sami
Young,
Zayn,
fresh-faced
baby.
Sami Zayn.
Clean cut Sami Zayn.
This
yeah!
is a green
Now there's
Chase
the
of
card.
Ciampa.
And more important, Goldie's with him.
Trying to see what this a Mako Satomura 2021 highlights card.
Very cool.
Who?
Well, since you did it, I'm gonna do it too.
You're gonna do it too? Do it to
I've
it.
got one, Ricky Booby Lashley.
Booby Lashley.
Booby Lashley.
Oh, this is sad. In NXT, Windy True.
When did you sad? Go sleep.
Yep, still can't get it.
Just doesn't like to focus.
No. One queen. Alistair's queen. Malachi's queen. Queen Zelina. And no stopping this card.
What the hell is he doing? I think he's on like
He did a
main event or
he has
something.
a really, really fun series with Mia Yim called Shelta Yim.
Oh, really?
On Reels. This week he dressed as Michael Myers, as though he was sneaking up on Mia Yim and she was eating the yogurt. And then out of nowhere, behind Michael Myers, comes one Keith Lee and throws him out of the house. Very fun.
Nice. I gotta check that out.
Or it's a Benayim. That's what it is. Edge. Tyler Bate. No, it's just Tyler Bate. It's not at the end.
There's no S on it.
There's no S? Oh, okay.
No.
There's an S on
Odie.
Otis, though.
This is Odie. Now you can do the S if you want.
Come on, man.
Rhea Ripley. Go ahead and do the E. There you go. It's not a specialty card, which makes me sad, but it is one of the greatest of all time. The Undertaker.
What was you gonna say? Vacant?
I was gonna say vacant. Yeah.
It's just a shadow. Did you notice it's just a shadow? You cannot.
That's why I thought it was vacant.
Very interesting. Oh, my green card is not exciting at all. Dana Brooke. It's a beautiful card. I mean, I really like.
She's a multiple
the name
champion
writing in there, the name writing and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, nobody's all that excited about Dana Brooke. We have a Prism red, white, and blue of Julius Creed. I didn't know that NXT stars got red, white, and blue prisms.
Apparently they do.
We have a Prism red, white, and blue. I'll send this directly to you, Smarks.
T-Bar. Reports have it he's headed back to NXT under the Dominic Dijakovic.
We have a red, white, and blue of one of the most recognizable, fun characters of all time. Anybody want a peanut? Andre.
Stop rhyming. I mean it.
Smarks, there may be some trades in your future.
I think I have that one, but I'll trade for it.
What?
I'll have two of them.
Well, one can be sticky and one can't.
Now a WWE Tag Team Champion.
Yeah, now WWE Women's Tag Champion.
Prismatic entrance. And I think that entrance is iconic enough to easily be a prismatic entrance. Very well known. So, all right. I'm actually out of cards now, so next time I won't interrupt you, bud.
I am hoping, because there's a chance to get autograph cards or even gear swatch cards, and so I'm hoping. Anyway.
Ron Breaker signed card. So let's do a fantasy booking.
Well, here
Yeah,
that'll play into something I wanted to talk about. One other thing I wanted to talk about with WWE. This is my last WWE thing, and then we can talk fantasy booking, and then I've got some AEW stuff, right? But this will play into it. Reports have it that Triple H might listen to our show. Not really, but we'll pretend.
He obviously does.
We have been saying for literally the entire length of this podcast, from day one, basically, that themed pay-per-views need to be limited or done away with. And reports have it that Trips is planning on getting rid of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. That he feels, which is what we feel, that the better use of things like Hell in a Cell is for them to come along organically between two people, where
an HBK who runs away from Undertaker.
Yes,
which
and
is
finally,
the very first Hell in a Cell.
And finally, they're like, "Well, you won't be able to run away if we put you inside of a cell." Right?
Not just a pay-per-view where you
should
be inside of a cell.
off the door.
Not just randomly, oh, it's the time of year we do the pay-per-view where we put people inside of a cell, so now we will do a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. That's and I think that is the way to do. So, let's talk fantasy booking what you would do with the Hell in a Cell match. Like, say you are Trips in charge of next year, and you decide you're not doing a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, you're going to use the Hell in a Cell as just a standalone match. What would you do with it? Where would you put it? What would you do?
Well, based on the existing storylines, I think that's where I end up going with Brock and Bobby. I think that's a fantastic match for Brock and Bobby. Where it has to end. I'd love to. Actually, I think a really good place to put that would be Royal Rumble. So you have the two Rumble matches, and then you have the one Hell in a Cell, or maybe a couple title matches. But it pulls those two out of the Royal Rumble, which is a good thing to do. I mean, oftentimes we were pulling people like The Undertaker out of the Royal Rumble because of feuds. So that it wasn't, this is going to be Undertaker's match. Yokozuna was frequently not in the Royal Rumble because he was in a feud or a title match. There are some guys that you just think are foregone conclusions in the Royal Rumble, and that gives you some ability to not have that, or to not have them in that match. So that's the one I would immediately do. Which means I build that storyline long enough that those two can have that feud. The important piece to remember with this is that there is another cage match that needs to be moved off of its own pay-per-view, but used probably annually, like SummerSlam 2023 Elimination Chamber. And that is best set up when you have built up 6, 5, or 4 competitors to be title contenders, and you just don't have a way to do it. I think TLC is fine. I think Money in the Bank is a wonderful pay-per-view. I know, Smarks, you disagree with me on this. I think Extreme Rules is TLC, so I don't understand doing both of those. But I like TLC as a pay-per-view. I love Money in the Bank as a pay-per-view, especially shortly after WrestleMania, meaning that it causes Royal Rumble to be your last chance to guarantee a WrestleMania spot, but your first chance to guarantee whatever spot you fucking want is Money in the Bank, and that's why I like that as the June or July pay-per-view before SummerSlam. But yeah, what I do with Hell in a Cell is I just bring it out for grudges, things that look, feel. There's a level of intensity that can be a Hell in a Cell. The best Hell in a Cell matches have always been not the ones that had a lot of people in them, so you could throw people off the top. Like the Rikishi match was not a great Hell in a Cell. The best Hell in a Cell. Okay, I'm boring the fuck out of you. I get it. The best
ADHD, I told you.
The best Hell in a Cells have been ones where there was a reason for Hell in a Cell, whether it was Mankind or Undertaker. The first one was because HBK kept running away. The Brock and Undertaker. There was just a level of brutality that was in those. And those are the three I really think of, and they're all involved the Undertaker. But at the end of the day, Triple H has the most the winningest record in Hell in Cells. And so, and that's because of his brutality, his cerebral abilities. So people thought that they were excluding the rest of the faction by doing so. That's what my thoughts are. If I was going to give you a match to book soon, I would say sometime between now and up to and including WrestleMania, Brock versus Bobby, of a feud that's existing right now.
JLB?
Well, there is rumors that they're looking to do the Money in the Bank now, specifically at WrestleMania, as opposed to their own pay-per-view.
That's what I was saying. It still does the same thing that Faye says.
I think it's okay as a pay-per-view. I just do.
And it even adds to the whole what happens at the end. Will they cash in that night? You know what I mean? It adds even more.
Yeah, that's the reason I don't have it at WrestleMania. That exact reason is the reason I don't have it at WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, chances of them doing it, though, is very rare. But the fact that you can have that. Imagine a Money in the Bank opening up WrestleMania. You know what I mean? You're already going to be excited, blah, blah, blah.
What is arguably the biggest moment of the modern era, the current era of WWE? WrestleMania.
Seth
cashing in. Right.
But he didn't win it that night.
He didn't win it that night, but this gives you a chance to tease that. I think
you can tease it for a whole year, though.
But you can still tease it for a whole year.
Not working good with theory.
Again,
that's going to turn into Seth having that title. It'll be title versus title.
I think so, too.
Title versus case. Sorry, go on.
Again, you just make the rule that you have to cash in by the end of that night, so the person who has the previous one can still cash in.
The only way that works is if you can cash it in through the end of the next WrestleMania, so that you can have two cases there that night, and then you can have a cash in on the cash in.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Anyways, back to JLB.
Because you're talking Hell in a Cell.
Right. So ideally we get rid of Elimination Chamber, get rid of Hell in a Cell. I think
I don't get rid of Elimination Chamber. I just use it in the right spots.
No, but
get rid of it as a pay-per-view.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like Elimination Chamber is almost fitting for your last chance before the Rumble, almost to kind of pick who gets the first, whoever's in the Elimination Chamber. So Elimination Chamber, for instance, would be like at Survivor Series. A contenders match of who gets to be in the Rumble.
I don't know.
The six in there though. No. But who gets to pick their number in the Rumble?
Oh, okay.
is what I'm kind of thinking of. So if you win it, you get to pick whatever number you want. If you don't, essentially, I don't know. You can get between 1, 10, 15 and 20 or something. Or maybe like you get 1, 4, 8, and 10. So you'll be
I think
like
that's
at
what
the
you do with
bottom
Survivor
level.
Series still. I can see Smarks rolling his eyes because he wants to do that with Survivor Series.
No.
Go on.
So Elimination Chamber with that, I think good for Survivor Series. Hell in the Cell. I don't want to do anything more with WrestleMania because if we have Money in the Bank there, it's going to be overly too much
Agreed.
for WrestleMania, and then I think we take away. I do like the idea of obviously going back to the old school grudge matches as what Hell in the Cell should be. I guess maybe you make it something to do with SummerSlam, because SummerSlam is usually when it does end feuds, and then Survivor Series is more when it just kind of Survivor Series is really more kind of the beginning of certain feuds to an extent. And usually SummerSlam is the one that really just, we don't know anymore what's going to happen because now there won't be any Raw and SmackDown per se, right? There's rumors that they're kind of going to get rid of that whole Raw versus SmackDown. So depending on what Trips does with that, I think maybe doing Elimination Chamber at Survivor Series, contenders match to see who gets in the Rumble. SummerSlam, you do some sort of grudge match. It only works with grudge matches. I don't want it for necessarily a championship, but I do want it for a well-built storyline. Because the best matches were never for championships at a Hell in the Cell. Mankind and Undertaker wasn't for a championship.
Correct.
Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker wasn't for a championship.
Was for a championship.
Was for the World Championship? Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know. Like, you don't. It's just too much. I never liked it having them having it as a pay-per-view, as we all discussed prior and agreeing that it's just way too much. The only one I liked was Money in the Bank, but now hearing with what they're going to do at WrestleMania, putting the Money in the Bank there, I do like that as an idea, and potentially there being maybe even another contender, hence that whole Seth cashing in way back when. Just made it fun. Just made it absolutely fun and made it a moment. So that's what I would essentially do. Money in the Bank at Mania, I love it. Hell in the Cell at SummerSlam, and we do Elimination Chamber at Survivor Series.
Well, to answer my own question here, I would get rid of the gimmick match themed pay-per-views except for Survivor Series.
I don't think that's a gimmick match, though.
But it is still a match type. The Survivor Series match is the 5-on-5 team match, right? It's
Yeah,
been
but
a gimmick match.
That's historic, though. That's literally
No, but what it is, and I think this is what they're doing. They're going back to Survivor Series being the blow off to major feuds, faction feuds, right? So right now we've got the Bloodline, and then they're building up other teams or groups to like they could have the Bloodline versus the Judgment Day, and there it's still effectively Raw versus SmackDown, but it's still not, right? Because it's two teams. You can play off of that. But the Money in the Bank ladder match, the Hell in a Cell, the TLC matches, the Elimination Chamber. Those all would go back to being special match types that could be pulled out at any time, right? And I truly mean at any time. Yes, they could throw a Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. Or, guess what? They could be like, hey, we currently don't have a women's Money in the Bank holder, right? Because so-and-so cashed in on...
Ooh, you could do it every time somebody cashes in.
Yeah, since someone cashed in, we've got room for a new Money in the Bank holder. So at this year's Extreme Rules, we're gonna do a Money in the Bank ladder match, right? Same thing with TLC. It goes back to being a match type that can be pulled out when a feud needs it, right? And it can go at any of the pay-per-views. There can be a Royal Rumble TLC match, or whatever. Royal Rumble's another one that I think keeps its own pay-per-view.
That's what I mean.
Because-
You can't remove
because
it.
of the way
No
it's
way.
set up.
Yeah.
I bring back King of the Ring as a pay-per-view. I bring it back as a all-in-one night tournament.
Is a what?
All in one night tournament.
Okay.
Right? Not the King of the Ring
Men and
qualifying
women?
matches.
Well, you can have a qualifier, but you still have a tournament that night.
Yeah, but the tournament is that night, which means the wrestlers that advance will wrestle multiple matches that night, because I think that brings out a lot of intrigue, not just in a, can they make it through, but can they physically make it through? In the final match of the night, it's going to be two people who have already beaten 2 or 3 people before that night.
Yeah, because
Right.
if you have 3 King Kong Bundy 10-minute matches, King Kong Bundy isn't going to win in the third one.
No, exactly. So it brings
that
back
what
some of this
exactly happened?
intrigue and all of this stuff
No.
for King of the Ring. But that's kind of what I would do. And then we've got this. So we've got Royal Rumble. We've got 2 Saudi shows. We got WrestleMania. We've got
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. We've got. I said we were keeping Extreme Rules because it's not a match type. It's just whatever. That puts us at
Just a
7
hardcore
there.
match.
I think we bring back
King of
Starrcade
the Ring, you said?
because King of the Ring we bring back, and then Starrcade. Put Starrcade in December, be the end of the year bash for
The
WWE.
All-Star game.
Yes, it's All-Star game. That puts you at 9. Then you can have 2 or 3.
Little Great Balls of Fire in June.
Yep, whatever ones. Yeah, Backlash and Great Balls of Fire.
Great
Or you
American
don't.
Bash.
Or you
Great-
don't. Or you
maybe
just have
it's
9 fucking
time-
pay-per-views. Here's
Yeah.
the deal. I firmly believe that half of the reason AEW pay-per-views are so much more entertaining, A, they're longer, and that can be polarizing, but B, they legitimately have 2 to 3 months to build up the storylines for them.
I have your 3 pay-per-views, though.
Go for it.
Great American Bash, Halloween Havoc, and Evolution.
Oh, Evolution. That was one I was definitely making. So that puts us at 8 there. Or
And 12. If you did
10.
Great American Bash. If you don't
Halloween
do Great
Havoc,
American Bash.
I do enjoy them keeping as an NXT one.
Okay.
I from a nostalgia purpose, I would love for them to bring it up as a thing, but they've done a good job with it as an NXT one. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
Don't do Road Wild. Do not take Road Wild or Hog Wild.
yeah, they can't do Hog Wilds because did you hear why?
WCW was only able to do one because
Only did one.
Harley Davidson sued him.
Yep, Harley
Oh, really?
Owners Group owns the trademark for HOG in terms of major things. So when they called it Hog Wild and then said it in Sturgis, Harley Davidson, which owns the rights for Harley Owners Group, sued them. So then they changed it to
It
Road
also did not make them nearly as much money as
It didn't. Eric Bischoff has been pretty firm on the fact that he still thought it was a net win in terms of publicity, even though it didn't make them much money. That it brought a lot more publicity because that was the pay-per-view that they often brought out a lot of the celebrity matches, like the Dennis Rodman match and the Karl Malone match, things like that. Anyways, beside the point. Don't do Sold Out. Just don't.
Nope.
No.
New World Order.
You can do Bash at the Beach,
OC.
which they've done a few times. Anyways,
Bash at the
real
Beach,
quickly, I
yeah.
opened another pack because I'm ADH fucking D. Yeah. So we start off with a Julius Creed. So I'm matching up with DA Fabe, a Carmelo Hayes,
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Love some mellow.
a Cora Jade, a
Now known as
Shay Samuels.
no, that's
Yeah, that's Roxanne Perez.
no,
But
the one that had her name changed. That was Casey Catanzaro.
oh yeah, Casey Catanzaro. An Ashton Smith, which I don't know, might be one of the ones released. I don't know. Von Wagner.
I know you don't like him, but I think he's very entertaining.
I don't dislike him. I just know he's does it even say on here? No. He's a legacy signing. He's son of someone. I don't remember who. Jack Stars.
Oh, hey, there's another one. We had the Rock's daughter show up on NXT last week.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. But here, let's finish these. Joaquin Wilde.
But he ADD'd.
Yes, I AD'd that. I have 80 of them. 80 of them fuckers. Braun Breaker.
Nice. You already have a Braun Breaker, no?
Not in this brand. This bunch of them, so. It's hard to read them sometimes. Edris Enof. Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck is this? Maybe he's an Idris Elba fan.
NXT UK Sam Gradwell. NXT UK interviewer Nina Samuels. A Bianca Belair.
Hey.
Gold card. Not
a
ever
gold
NXT
card.
Champion.
Not a gold card.
Also,
it's a
never
black
an
and
NXT
gold
champion.
card. Yeah.
I mean, it is the EST of the card. All the cards he's got, though.
A green rookie debut card for Fallon Henley.
Also known as debut card.
And a NXT all-time highlights Charlotte Flair. Okay.
It's coming back soon,
yeah.
no?
I don't know, maybe. So yes, Rock's daughter debuted on NXT. She delivered a very, very short promo. She debuted by revealing that she was the one in the red hoodie that had been helping out Joe Gacy's group.
Schism,
yeah.
Schism or Schism, yeah.
And
did you
she was
see
very,
her
very short
promo, her interview as well?
I didn't see her interview. I saw her little promo there. I've seen a lot of people online pissed that they didn't have her debut on the main roster and join the Bloodline.
What? No.
There's a lot of people online pissed about it, and that's a fucking horrible take.
It's way too green.
That's a really bad take on what to do with her. Yes, she's very green, right? I don't think people understand how green she is. She first of all, she has not wrestled on the main roster, not on the main roster, on NXT TV yet at all, right?
Just attacked people.
Yeah, she's attacked a few people, and that's it. She also has not spoken on NXT TV until this show, right?
Right.
We literally know, in terms of storyline rights, we know zero about her. Zero. Right? And I'm going to point out the last time, and this is because I want to hold ourselves accountable for this. The last time they took a second or third generation, or in the case of her, fourth generation wrestler, and debuted them immediately on the main roster, we got Dominic fucking Mysterio. And we've spent the last, 2 years now, bitching about how horrible Dominic Mysterio is, right?
No, I'm very glad she's in NXT. I'm also very glad around somebody who can cut a hell of a promo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the deal is we've been complaining, and what's been our major complaint against Dominic Mysterio? That they didn't give him time to grow in NXT, to develop. That's what
or to be
NXT's for.
taught by people who aren't his dad.
Yeah,
I
that's
blame
what
Ray.
NXT is for. It's so people can come along and grow and learn and figure out through trial and error and through coaching from staff what works and what doesn't work. And Dominic is, to his credit, he's getting less horrible.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Yeah, once you take him away from his dad, he gets less horrible.
He gets less horrible. He take him away from his dad, and then you have him start wrestling more like Eddie Guerrero. And he's been able to build some considerable heat by saying that he's like the second coming of Eddie Guerrero. No, I'm better, right? Eddie Guerrero was like
It's the second coming of Dominic Mysterio.
the first coming of Dominic Mysterio. That brought a lot of heat,
For sure.
right?
For sure.
But again, that's something he could have developed with a couple years in NXT. So let's let Baby Rock, Pebble, whatever we want to call her, fucking develop in
Rockette,
gravel,
sand.
yeah, sedimentary, limestone. It's a type of rock.
Limestone.
Let's let her develop. I think she's got everything that she could possibly need to be a good one, to be a star. But let's fucking let her develop. Let's let her develop a character and a style down in NXT that she can then use on the main roster, instead of throwing her to the fucking wolves from the beginning.
And honestly,
Are you just trying
I
to
don't
get frozen
think-
in that way?
and honestly, I don't think that you put her anywhere near. I like the fact that she's with the Schism group, because they're kind of cryptic and so on. It's so different from what her dad was and everything like that. So
Set her apart.
set her apart completely. Don't make her part of the bloodline and all that, because honestly, she's gonna have some major, huge freaking shoes to fill.
That's what I say.
Especially with, like with
Let it
Roman
go.
being as good as he is and The Rock being as good as he was.
I don't know.
She
I
looks
really
like
love
him quite a
poorly
bit, but-
delivered gimmicks on the Rock line. The Pebble said, "If you smell or if you sniff what the Pebble's cooking."
God, if they start doing something like that, I swear to
Make
God.
make it so bad that everybody's
Finally,
like, "Oh my God."
the Pebble has arrived in Houston.
And have her feel like she's really delivered her dad's lines. You're just like,
No, like I said, I think this being with the Schism will be good for her.
Yes.
I think the biggest thing is, that's what I say, is that that's a galaxy brain bad take to say we should put her straight to the main roster.
no,
That's-
absolutely not.
That's fucking horrible. They should feel bad. They
They
really
shouldn't
should
have
feel
put-
bad about themselves.
Simply put, they shouldn't have put The Rock to the main roster immediately.
No, people fucking hated The Rock for the first year and a half he was on.
He had a shoulder breaker as a finisher.
Yeah.
When he was Rocky Maivia, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, when he
Bad.
first came out, he was Flex Kavanaugh.
That's
Um,
right.
I don't even remember that. Okay.
And then he became Rocky Maivia. And people hated him so much that there were Rocky sucks chants. Right?
Back when it wasn't fun to do a certain person sucks,
Yeah,
Right.
these weren't
you
in
sucked
good.
in Kurt Angle.
These weren't in good fun. Like, hey,
Cena
let's say
sucked.
Rocky sucks. These were legitimately we hate him.
Go home,
he
eat
sucks.
Xbox.
Just Cody Rhodes heat.
But
I've never heard it called Cody Rhodes heat. I've heard it called
yeah, I think
Xbox heat.
JLB is the only one who thinks it's Cody Rhodes heat.
Cody Rhodes heat.
So
Okay.
So
anyway,
anyways,
moving forward.
I
I do
wanna-
have a challenge.
okay, you have a challenge. Let's do your challenge, and then
So-
I want to talk some AEW stuff. So
Okay. So the challenge for me, as I was just enthralled in two different promos by the Bloodline, who I've intentionally been resisting enjoying. And I enjoyed Friday night's promos so much, and I enjoyed the prior Monday's promos where Paul Heyman was like, he's got these pins in his hand, and okay, I'll shut up.
I'll go get the jet now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Just in an
up the
FYI,
jet. Yeah, every promo the last 3 weeks is just
just an FYI, Logan Paul has revealed he legitimately does have pins in his hands.
fair enough.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
I just wanted to say it's
Oh, that's a legit thing.
And
Yeah.
you add to it that Jake Paul literally just beat Georgia St. Pierre. Is it Georgia St. Pierre?
Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva.
Sorry, Jesus.
he beat
Anderson
an
Silva
MMA
legitimately
fighter
just
in a
beat
boxing
a
match.
washed up MMA fighter in a boxing match.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he got decisioned beat. He didn't he knocked him down
still
once.
won.
It's still a W. A
I
win's
know,
a win's a
guys.
win.
I'd love to see pro wrestling
I'm
a
gonna
brand come
point
out
out-
with a point system.
It was a unanimous decision.
Yes.
It was,
It was
unanimous.
all
It was fun.
rounds went to him.
And it was 79 to 73. It was like, what the fuck, guy?
Now here's what it comes down. He, like DA Fame said, he beat a MMA guy who's past his prime and retired from MMA in a boxing match, right?
Who's also 20 years younger than him.
Yes.
Older than
And almost any time. And this is the thing. You put an MMA guy against a boxer in a boxing match, the boxer is almost always going to be the victor.
Correct.
Right? You switch it up though
But
and put
Silva
a boxer
has
you put a
boxing
boxer in,
experience.
but not against serious boxers, right? You put a boxer in an MMA match, and the MMA guy's gonna win, right? You know why? Because the training for the two things is completely different. In boxing, you're trained to put the hands up and protect the top here and wait for your shot to go in and do all this stuff. You put your hands up like this.
And they're
In
going to shoot in
MMA,
on you and take you
they
down.
shoot in on take you down, and suddenly you find yourself
Grapple
in
time.
in grappling and in a key lock or Kirifuda clutch or whatever. You know what I mean? You get fucking taken out, or you just get mounted and beat about the fucking head. You know.
By the way, he's had 5 bouts in boxing. Anderson Silva.
Yes. What's his record?
That's a good question. Google did not tell me such thing. I will tell you in a second.
Anyway,
His record isn't good.
so yeah, because Anderson Silva was a striker, especially with his feet.
Yeah.
Particularly with his feet. So, moving forward. So, my challenge to you, the reason I bring up the Bloodline is I have had so much fun, more fun with Sami Zayn in the Bloodline than I've ever had with Sami Zayn. Now, I know that JLB disagrees, and that's fine. That's not what this is about. It is the idea that there is a person who obviously does not fit in a faction that is in a faction. And I'm going to name random factions to you guys, and I want you to give me the person who obviously does not fit, why they don't obviously fit, and why they do fit. And I'm going to do that with 5 factions.
Okay, so I need to. You're gonna give a faction. I need to give a guy who fits in it and tell why.
A guy who doesn't fit but will be in it and tell why.
Oh, it doesn't fit.
Doesn't
Okay.
fit. Oh.
Okay.
So, Sammy obviously does not fit in the Bloodline because he's not an
I
NOI.
knew so.
NOI.
Okay. NOYE.
Okay.
E.
This should be relatively easy. You just have to find somebody who's you're like, that person should not be in there. Okay. But Smarks will definitively overthink this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to come off screen.
He's got a point.
And your first faction is Evolution. For both of you.
Evolution.
Someone who does not fit in evolution. Why they don't fit, why they would fit. Why you would still put them in.
Well, I mean, everyone could technically fit in evolution, it being the past, present, and future, though.
Correct. But can you fit Barry Horowitz into the evolution?
No.
There you go. Try to make them from the same era, but you do not have to make them from the same era. Evolution, you can be any era because they can be past, present, and future.
I'm trying to remember his name. Sorry. No, I'm trying to. Okay, I'm trying to remember his real name. I think it's Charles Wright.
Godfather?
Oh, I was thinking of the Big Show. Oh,
No,
I was thinking of
not Big Show.
Charles
Wright.
Wright. Godfather.
Because Paul White is Big Show without
Right.
the R. Charles Wright
is, yes, the Godfather and Papa Shango.
and that is why he doesn't fit, because he's not like, he wasn't the star of any past, present, or future. He was a bit player, but he also does fit because he is past, present, and at the time future. Because he's had multiple characters. So he'd be this weirdo who comes out in Evolution in a different character every time. You could be getting Godfather, you could be getting Papa Shango, you could be getting fucking what was his name? When he was in The Nation. Was he in Nation? No.
Yeah. Oh, Godfather? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Kamala. No,
Kamala,
not Kamala.
there you
Wasn't it Kamala? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So he comes out in whatever one at any given time.
That's kind of interesting, actually.
That's fair enough.
So I was thinking of the Big Show.
Where?
Because he can't find
And-
tailored suits to fit him.
Well, it's
So-
big, slow.
But he would always have like a split personality between his giant character and then his Attitude Era Big Show character.
WMD Big Show.
WMD Big Show. I mean, if you want to make it a little more funny, he also, because of his like split personality, he also does his characters that he's done on like Waterboy with being the wrestler. What the fuck was his name?
Captain
Who,
Insano,
Captain Insano. That's it.
who, by the way, reportedly will be a playable character on the AEW video game.
What's nice.
Yep.
And since this was 2002, you could make it a whole thing that he is a second generation because Andre the Giant was his son.
Jesus.
Playing back to the rules of WCW when they made that like a thing for a bit.
However, not all members of Evolution were second generations.
This is true.
In fact, only one of them was a generation.
Only one of
wrestler.
them was, yeah, that's fair.
So, all right. Next group. Since we've mentioned Paul Wright, or not Paul Wright, since we mentioned Charles Wright, let's go ahead and do Right to Censor. And quite frankly, Charles
Stone
Wright literally
Cold
was a guy that did not
Steve
fit in that group.
Austin.
As was
No, he
Val
definitely
Venis.
wasn't. As Val Venis. Yeah, Ivory was
Neither
the
of them
only
fit in
fitting.
that
And
group, but
Steven
they were in that
Richards.
group.
And Steven Richards. Stevie Richards, rather.
And Stevie Richards. It was really just
Okay.
a whole bunch of guys that supposedly turned a new leaf.
Right.
And
Stone
Serena
Cold
Deeb,
Steve Austin.
because, okay, why?
Because he would always essentially he would agree to try and turn over a new leaf But every time he'd be mad, he'd always flip the bird, and his team would always get angry at him. So it would be like a good comical relief. Austin, you're going to go wrestle this guy. Oh, he's a stupid son of a bitch. No, Austin, you can't say that. What? Why not?
He's a
Why
stupid
no,
son
right?
of a gun.
Right, and he would always make up a new
when he
word.
says, "Oh hell," and they look at him. Oh,
And his new
heck
finger would be
yeah."
the pinky. His new finger would be the pinky. I got 2 words for you. He pulls up the
That's
pinky.
DX.
Oh, not to, right. I'm going to flip the bird. You see this pinky right here? I got 2 of them.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Mine's similar, but it's Sandman. Because his whole thing is gonna be like, oh man, you know, I'm trying so fucking hard. Fuck. And then they'd set him up in a match, and he'd just bloody the person, and they'd be like, come on, we can't put that on TV. It's like, fuck, I'm just trying so fucking hard.
And he drinks non-alcoholic beer when he comes out.
No, he'd be drinking regular beer, and they'd
This
be like, come
abuse
on,
tastes like
man.
shit.
He'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, that other stuff just tastes like shit. Oh, come on, guys. You know what? You're not trying so hard. And then he'd get in the match, and instead of wrestling, he'd pull out a Singapore cane and start beating the person and get disqualified and be like, what are you doing? And he'd be like, I'm just trying so hard.
I just try so hard.
Just in a point of reference, I actually have Anderson Silva's boxing record up here.
Yeah, he won 3 of his matches.
Yeah, he's 3-2. One of the losses, of course, Jake Paul.
Right.
He also won against Tito Ortiz in Tito Ortiz's debut boxing match.
Right.
So Tito Ortiz, a
Washed up MMA
star, right?
Because that was in 2021, no?
Yes, 2021. Right?
Yeah. So
he beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
A washed up boxer.
Yeah, a washed up
That
boxer.
was 3 weights smaller than him, if that's the case.
And it was a split decision. So 3 rounds to 3 rounds. He just barely got the victory in the end there. Right? He won against Julio Cesar de Jesus.
Jesus.
I was so good through half of the name, and then I fucked up. Julio Cesar de Jesus, right? In his debut match, right? And then he lost to Osmar Luis Teixeira, in a referee decision. Anyways, so yeah, he you're in reality, like 2 of his wins.
Not a legit boxer.
2 of his wins are against debut fighters, and one of those was a washed up former MMA guy. So 9 times out of 10, you put a boxer in there against an MMA guy, the boxer's gonna win in a boxing match. You put that same match together as an MMA match, the MMA person's gonna win, right? So this was stacked in Jake Paul's favor, right? This isn't trying to belittle Anderson Silva. This is just saying that game was stacked.
I mean, if you just don't think it's all rigged anyways.
Right? Shoot. Shoot. Poopy britches. Okay. 10 minutes from now.
In case people didn't know, Big JC helped Nerdvana Gamer, also known as Ambrosia, out a little bit there.
Well, because of that, I'm going to open another pack, because now I'm flipped off.
Disappointed.
Gonna get some fracking cards out.
Fracking cards.
Yep. So we got A Kid in his
Which kid?
A Kid. This is his outfit before he came up with the weird outfit he now wears. I don't know much about him. Dante Chu. Chen.
Choo-choo.
Chen. Dante Chen. I don't know anything about him. Who the fuck is him?
Whoa!
Nope. I lost a point.
For a game you won't play.
Game I don't play. Amelia McKenzie. So I'm gonna go ahead and just say it gets extended for another minute because I messed up.
No. Okay, well, that only ruins us, though.
Yeah, too bad.
You don't play that game. No,
Too bad.
There has to be repercussions to your
That's the
swearing.
repercussion. Is I have to go
No,
longer.
it's not a repercussion.
It sure is.
Sacre bleu.
Robert Stone.
Swearing in French still counts.
No, it doesn't. You don't know what it means. Neither does the majority of our audience.
Ikemen Euro.
I think it's actually Jiro.
It might be. I don't know.
He lost all hope after he said Jesus.
Andre Chase, the leader of Chase Academy. My first duplicate, Io Shirai.
Doobly duplicate.
A rookie card for Nathan Frazier, which he wrestled under his real name, Ben Carter, on AEW Dark, and I really wanted them to sign him because he's amazing. And
How long ago was this?
a year ago, and then he gets signed to NXT.
Oh, shish kebab. Damn.
Jordan Devlin, who I believe now wrestles under a generic.
JR.
Yeah. JD.
Oh, it's JD.
McCullough.
JD McCullough, yes.
McDonough. Great wrestler, though. I don't care what his name is. He's phenomenal.
Jensen.
Brooks.
Person who I believe returned to the ring tonight, Odyssey Jones.
Fat shaming over there, bud?
No.
He just does nothing for us. Grayson Waller.
I don't understand him being one of the six. I just don't. That's fine. Just
One of the six.
There's speculation that he's one of the Wyatt
Yeah,
Six.
the Wyatt Six.
Oh, okay.
A NXT Alexa Bliss card.
Wasn't it Joe Gacy as one of the six?
They
Grayson
talked
Waller?
about Joe Gacy. Both of them were rumored to be.
Oh, okay.
And I do not think Joe Gacy is one of them because the schism is such a big storyline going on right now
Yes.
on NXT TV. I don't think they are going to double that.
Speaking of guys named Joe, I really want somebody to sign Joe Hendry so I can get his video trolling all the time and actually understand why he's trolling the way he trolls.
Yeah, he is actively on the Impact roster right now.
One of the two big ones. Number 3's fine.
Oddly enough, in the same pack as I got his regular card, I get the
Things are
gold
better.
variant of Andre Chase.
Oh, we're frozen.
Nah, I'm not frozen. You're frozen.
You're not
And
even
then
out.
Let it go.
a
Go.
2021 A-Kid UK highlights.
2A kids.
Two
Yeah, two A-Kids in that.
Same package.
But two different ones. That one's a UK highlights
Yeah.
one. So, but
All right.
anyways,
We're ready for the next faction.
yes.
Your next faction. $1 Million Club. $1 Million Man's Group. Which was a ragtag bunch of people who just took the money. A little harder to figure out somebody that doesn't fit into that group. I have mine, and I think Smarks will go the same way.
I don't think I am. I might agree with you, but Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
The concept's the same. Yep. Go on.
And with him, the concept would be, I mean, he's not $1 million person, right?
No.
He takes the money, and then every week is going to feature a vignette of him, or a vignette. It might be a vignette. We'll find out. Of him asking DiBiase for more. Like, oh man, I just I spent it all. What'd you buy? Like bubble gum and 2x4s.
I got a lot of American flags.
Then I stick the bubble gum in between the 2x4s to make myself a house.
Listen.
Didn't have a hammer. I
went
need to buy a hammer now.
I went to buy some bubble gum, and all I had was hundreds, and they didn't have change, so I just told them to keep the change.
Rather than buy more bubble gum.
You bought 50 cents worth of bubble gum, and you tipped him $99.50. Yeah.
Here, take more.
Is that not good? Here's the more money.
You got a match with John Studd tonight. You and him are going out there to win. All right, JLB.
Who wouldn't fit? Bob Backlund. He is a heel, and a lot of the stuff he did say was true. You know, kids should stay in school, kids should read the dictionaries, kids should not focus their life on money all the time because money is the root to all evil. Be a better wrestler instead. So while he's in the group, he would tell Ted DiBiase that he needs money for his campaign to buy more dictionaries and buy books for the children. And when they disagree with him, he'll do his heelish stuff, and wrestlers disagree with him, and he'll rip the books as like inside the ring or something, and whatever have you. And Ted DiBiase finally gets angry at him and is like, "But this isn't teaching anybody anything. You have a price, but your price isn't to lure your money around over people. You are trying to teach people to be better humans, when in reality you're wasting my money, not to flaunt it because you got some, but to help people in the process." So I don't think Bob Backlund would work in the $1 Million Man. And he's not over. Can you not hear me?
I hear you, Smarks. I don't hear JLB.
I wasn't talking.
You were moving and I could hear your chair move.
Well, I can hear him just fine, so I don't...
That's weird.
What do you mean? You can't hear me?
I couldn't hear you for a second. That was weird.
Oh, okay. What did you not? Basically,
Thanks,
Bob Backlund
Elon.
Fuck, he's too focused on Twitter. He took
you
some
did
of
it.
his...
The minutes wasn't over
That's
yet.
funny. I really got to get a screenshot of that.
You cussed. The time wasn't over. The 10 minutes wasn't
What?
over.
The time was over? You
Nope.
said the time was over.
Nope, I did not say the time was over.
I guess we have to just keep going. I guess we just have to keep
so we
going
got to
with
add
more
another
minutes.
minute to it.
Oh.
Thanks a
Well,
lot.
Did somebody swear?
Yeah.
He didn't hear it, so technically no one swore.
No, I heard it.
Anyway,
Pretty sure Ambrosia heard it.
third one. Or fourth one. DX. Oh, by the way, mine was Macho Man Randy Savage. I think it just makes sense.
Ooh, yeah.
Right after their match.
I also thought another good one would have been Hulk Hogan in full face mode, joining the $1 Million Foundation. And just every time he'd get money, he'd just donate it to charity.
Or steroids.
And
Charity.
that would just drive Ted DiBiase just nuts. He'd be just like, "What do you mean you gave it to charity?" Yeah, there's a Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Somebody wanted to meet John Cena. Yeah. Oh wait, no, that wasn't there yet. All right, DX, easy one. Pick somebody you just think needed to be DX.
Kurt Angle.
Okay. as oh hey, is our time up then?
Fuck yeah, it is. It's
okay.
up now.
So as stupid fucker Kurt Angle, yippee-ki-yay.
Maybe I was thinking more the drink your milk and be a good boy Kurt Angle.
Okay.
When they were all being like rebellious,
when he had hair.
We can't be pointing to our crotches out here.
Yeah, whoa! What's up with that? That's rude.
I got 2 words for you. It's true.
It's damn true. Okay, Kurt Angle, I like it.
Let's.
While he's thinking, I do not think I will be buying any more of these.
The NXT ones?
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's a lot of nobodies.
Well, and they're just not as high quality as the Prism. I get it. They're not
really?
designed to be. But they're just...
Did you get them in a $5 bin?
No.
I missed the Topps Finest.
The Topps Finest were really nice. I wish I could find the AEW ones, but...
they're always sold out.
I can't. I haven't found any place in the area that even stocks them. So I'd have to buy them online. But.
Even your card store downtown?
I've gone to a couple card stores, and everyone that I've gone to, when I say AEW Upper Deck cards, they go, what?
What? Fair enough. Anyway, Booker T.
Booker T is what I'm going to go with. Because I definitely don't see Booker T being in DX. Trips and Sean would try to show him the way with being over extravagantly rude. But every time they would come to this catchphrase, he would always say his own catchphrase. Can you dig it, sucker? And when he says, I got 2 words for you, he'd be...
Can you dig it, sucker?
He would do that, but he would say, I got 2 words for you, but he'd say it 5 times while he still does this 5 times. 5-time world champion. And when they all say suck it, he does a spin Rooney because it's Booker T. And heck, why not? He can do probably a good comedic role into it because he'll definitely do his little quacky quack duck thing. That's fucking annoying, and I can't believe he brought it into NXT now.
All right, very last one. Are you going to do cards?
I'll do it after.
Okay. Very last one. One of the most famous clubs of all time. Not NWO, who would literally take anybody, but Bullet Club.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you did NWO, it'd be really hard to find someone who wasn't in it at one point.
The Rock.
The Rock.
I mean, anyone in WWF.
Undertaker. Well, I mean, Stone Cold could have been in it. Mm-hmm. Wasn't, but he could have.
Yeah.
The Stunning Steve.
Anyways,
I wasn't going to do the Four Horsemen, but I'm going to do Bullet Club.
Bullet Club. Clarification question.
Which one?
Any wrestler or just specifically New Japan?
No, any wrestler. Okay. Any wrestler and any rendition of the Bullet Club. Okay. I would like to know who the leader is of that one, though. Of which leader Bullet Club.
What was Bullet Club's whole thing, essentially? Why did
New
they form
NWO.
together?
They were
New
basically
versus
NWO. I mean,
NWO.
it started off. They were the because it started in New Japan, and they were the Gaijin group. They were the non-Japanese, the foreign.
They were the sports entertainers.
Well, not really that. It was just like New Japan had a long history of Japanese wrestlers being the stars, and these were
Non-Japanese
non-Japanese
wrestlers.
wrestlers who started making a mark at it. But they also, I mean, they were very heavily influenced by NWO. They were the outsiders who disrupted things. They did things that were outside of what was considered acceptable in New Japan at the time when they first started. You know, like table spots weren't huge in New Japan. Disqualifications by interference was not big in New Japan. The New Japan style was more of a matches actually finish, you know, and we have a winner and we have a loser. And then Bullet Club would come in and they'd do like kind of gang mentality. They'd gang up on people. They'd cheat to win. They'd do a lot of that. So anyways,
It would,
They were
be,
a
it
heel
would be
faction.
the equivalent of NWO in ROH.
yes. And they were a heel
And New
faction
Japan.
that got really popular with the world because we apparently like to cheer the heel factions. Anyways, Bullet Club. I'm thinking Kenny Omega era Bullet Club with Will Ospreay.
Who at the time was an honorable wrestler.
Honorable wrestler, but he also has never really gotten along with Kenny Omega.
No.
And so to have a person who openly does not get along with the leader of Bullet Club at
Moves
the
the
time.
needle. Yeah, absolutely. I get it.
I was thinking Kenny Omega's version of Bullet Club, and the person joining it would be Daniel Bryan, because he would work good with the Bullet Club in terms of wrestling technique and so on. However, he would always be angry when they would try and help him win because he just simply doesn't need it. And that ultimately would build a feud between him versus Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega to ultimately see who becomes the leader of Bullet Club.
I'm going to throw you a curveball. I'm going to say AJ Styles era Bullet Club. And I'm going to say Antonio Inoki.
All about tradition.
Yeah, the guy who comes in and says, basically, he's the Eric Bischoff of it.
I can see it. Okay, terms of cards. Starting off, Blair Davenport. They could have chose a better picture, but you know, whatever.
Like those thighs, though.
Jeez. I'm the podcast pervert.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes, you are.
Don't take my job from me.
By the way, OnlyFans.
Well, you weren't going to say it.
I just had to do that in. Caden Carter.
She has an OnlyFans?
No, I was just saying, you know, because you're the pervert, so we have to talk about OnlyFans.
Oh, okay.
With you. I'm just throwing out OnlyFans.
Neither Rose has an OnlyFans.
I'm an elected district attorney. As an elected official, my job is to be the pervert.
Zion Quinn.
Who?
He's been on
Does he
NXT
still
a
go
bit.
by that name?
I don't know. Dave Mastiff. NXT UK.
Sorry.
Also NXT
Fat
UK.
shaming again?
T-Bone. Not to be confused with T-Bar.
With T-Bar.
Needs no introduction.
GG. Speaking of podcast pervert, here I am. How do you
Sanga.
do?
Mark Andrews. Joe Coffey.
Play Coffee's music. Sorry.
D.A. Fabe's favorite, Santos Escobar.
Love that
Who
dude.
fucking lost to fucking Hit Row. God damn it.
The other member, JC Jane.
JC Jane.
Rampage Brown. A very rock-tabulous version of Chad Gable.
Chad Gable.
Oh, wow.
That's
That was Alpha Team, no? Or
yeah.
when he was Ultimate Alpha Team.
Yeah, you're on the right path, and I'm totally blanking right now. So we've
Alpha
got
Academy.
Alpha Academy is the current one. So
Oh,
but NXT 2.0 2021 highlights Imperium,
nice.
Love Imperium.
and then I don't know exactly what edition chase card this is, gold edition maybe, of Io Shirai.
Hey, you got 2 EOs.
Yeah, but 2 different versions of it, so that's good. I only have a few doubles so far, which is interesting because there's 90 cards in this, and the entire set is only 125 cards base.
So the doubles are coming.
So yeah, it surprised me I don't have a ton of doubles. Anyways, that was the end of your challenge, correct?
Yep. I mean,
Okay.
if you want to do four horsemen, I'll gladly do it. But
Nope. Let's move on to talking about AEW a bit because I want to. I really want to. MJF, do you think he's turning?
no.
They heavily hinted at it on last week's Dynamite. He went the entire show talking about how he didn't want help to beat Jon Moxley. He specifically told the firm not to hurt Jon Moxley. He wants Jon Moxley at 110% for their match at Full Gear. Do not interfere. Do not hurt. After Jon Moxley's match versus Penta, where Jon Moxley eked out a victory, the firm came down and started attacking Jon Moxley, and then MJF came out and pulled them off Jon Moxley and fired them, and then got attacked by them and got beat down by them and then powerbombed through a table by them. By the way, earlier he even promised he wasn't going to use the Dynamite Diamond ring on
Because
Jon Moxley.
Regal is at Full Gear, ladies and gentlemen. Still gonna be heel. That's what's happening.
And so here's the deal. I'm agreeing with you that it isn't a turn, but I do want to discuss how heavily they're pushing it as a turn and how many people think that he is turning face. So much that like news sites like Fightful and like bodyslam.net or whatever were talking about how I think turning MJF face is a bad idea and all this stuff, or I think it's a good idea because he's as over as fuck and everyone loves him or whatever.
I think it's too obvious though. Like they're pushing it too down your throat for him to be kind of facey, as opposed to Usi, kind of facey, that it's just a swerve.
Kind of facey. He legitimately did the 100% babyface thing and came out to rescue the champion, the babyface thing. This
There's
isn't
too much. It
this
was, like,
isn't
too
him being
much.
kind of face. Now, again, I agree. I think this is all going to be a swerve. It's going to be a few more weeks of him doing the face stuff, playing the game, and then at Full Gear, he is going to win with help from the firm.
And say, I told you
Mhm.
that you couldn't beat me.
Yes.
I had a plan.
You knew I was a scorpion when you let me on your back. So, but I at least wanted to talk about it, make sure we were all on the same page. He 100% is not turning face, right?
No.
I don't care
No
what
way.
you read. I don't care what you see. I don't care if Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp and David Bixabian all say, I'm hearing that he's listed as face on the roster right now. I don't fucking care. He is 150% still going to be heel by the end of
For
the
sure.
But I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page here, because I've talked to some people and seen a lot of posts about a lot of people angry. They shouldn't turn him face. They're doing a horrible thing turning him face. It's bad. And I go, because they're not. They're not turning him face. They
They're not,
know
exactly.
it. But you tease.
And I mean, he's still kind of heely though, right? When he was talking to Renee, talking shit about John Moxley, mocking John Moxley. You know, so he's still on the borderline between face and heel, and then he does something that's really face, and he does something that's kind of really heel.
I don't think he did a
And-
ton of heel stuff, but here's the thing is, right? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Hulk Hogan was in action a heel for almost his entire career, but he was a face. But his in-ring work was heel work the entire time. But everyone calls him a babyface and treated him as a babyface. So, but no, what they're doing is they're doing a Ric Flair. Pretend I'm the good guy, pretend I'm the stuff to lure you into a false sense, and then I'm going to fucking turn on you and bite you in the ass, right? That's what they're doing. Okay. We're on the same page there. I want to talk about CM Punk. Is he out, do you think? Or are they working us with the reports of him being out?
I think he's out.
I think he's out.
Okay, three of us on
I
this
really do.
all think he's out.
I feel like
I-
you're disappointed by us agreeing with
Nope.
you.
No, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here, because I see a lot of people talking
Yeah.
about it being
You're
a work.
thinking it's a swerve, really?
They're thinking that it's a swerve. The longer this goes on and everything, now I think it's a swerve. To turn a phrase, they're being very JLB about this. It's a work. It's a work the whole time. Everything's a fucking work.
I mean, I was gonna say, if I want to play devil's advocate here, you know, the whole scrum thing to me was a bit.
Oh, hold
much.
on. I got
How-
a call here. Yes, Satan. You don't want JLB to be your advocate?
Oh,
Fair enough.
yep.
Okay.
Oh, I just got a text.
All
Same
right.
thing. He doesn't want you to advocate for it.
No, not
He
at
says
all.
no.
All right, fair enough. Duly noted.
He says,
So,
fuck JLB. Tell him to shut his big fat trap. Okay.
Keanu Reeves did a better job in the movie, anyways, so that's fine. Yeah. So the fact that Tony Khan let that media scrum go the way that it did, without stopping, though, was a bit fishy to me. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he just let CM Punk go on and go on and go on. Oh, can I get the water too after CM Punk when you're done, the beers or whatever the fuck it was, when you're done? Like it. In that retrospect, I could see them kind of doing a work, but like I don't know, man. I see CM Punk being too much of an ass jack to really fucking.
I seem to remember when I went on a whole rant about how Tony Khan should have put on his big boy pants and stopped that. You defending him for sitting there and not doing anything. So
I don't think I defended him. I don't think that's true. That does not sound like me.
no, it pretty much is true. It's what happened. But you know,
It's not what.
it's fine. It's fine.
I'll
I
go
was-
back.
I was the only
You're
one.
on-
I was the only one who thought that he should have stopped it and should have.
Hold on. I don't know that I
That's
said
true.
he shouldn't have. My thought process would have been.
When was the media scrum? I'm gonna look at the
I don't know.
episode.
When was fucking All Out?
That's fair.
My
It
guess
would've
is that he was just like, "What the fuck?"
It would have been right after
Yeah, exactly.
All
We
Out.
did it that
so,
night.
So
Yeah.
if you find when All Out was, the media scrum was after All Out. That's why
Thank
it was
you.
called the All Out media scrum.
Dirt.
So, anyways, but we're moving on because it's fine. He's 100% out. He's being bought out of his contract.
For sure.
And I've seen reports recently that basically say, I think, who was it? It was the guy he called out on during the thing. He pulled Nick Hausman. He pointed out Nick Hausman and tried to call him out on things, and Nick Hausman was like, I wasn't a part of any of that shit. Oh, okay, never mind. But anyways, Nick Hausman's reporting that he's hearing that CM Punk's probably done with wrestling again. We're not going to see him on another show. It doesn't matter whether he's got a no compete or not. He's going to take the payout, and he's going to go off to Hollywood because he's got inroads through the Stars show Heels with Stephen Amell that has set him up to potentially start doing more acting. And that's not about money because he's going to have a shit ton of money from the buyout. So he's out. In relation to that, we haven't had a chance to talk about the Elite promo. I say promo. The Elite package, the Elite video that aired during Dynamite last week.
Right.
Where they showed clips from the original press conference announcing it and from matches during the first year and even from being the Elite when they first unveiled the AEW logo and that they were doing a Double or Nothing, a pay-per-view, and then had them all basically Thanos away in those. And then the last one showed the AEW logo and then the E Thanos away and then the whole logo Thanos away. And so do we think the Elite's coming back soon? And what do we think they're doing? Like, what do you think that's really hinting at? Or is it hinting at a program, or is it just hinting at, I don't know, playing into things?
Well, I mean, it's gotta be them coming back. No? Why else would you do it? I mean, them disappearing could be alluding to, hey, we were gone for a while.
Well, that's a promo.
Yeah, it's a promo, and I think they're going to end up being a heel faction, kind of FAEW for what they did. They didn't take our side, so now we're here to ruin. Now we're here to ruin AEW, so to speak. And I could even see maybe them doing like a ROH versus AEW. They all go to ROH or something, and they make it like a thing where they want to destroy AEW or something. I don't know.
Moving them to ROH in this capacity is not a bad move. It makes them say,
and especially for TV deals,
we're honorable enough for this.
Yeah,
we
that's
do
it.
The honorable thing.
Especially when their TV deal is going to come up in 2023. And having those people as ROH stars for the first few things, them going against AEW, I think that would be pretty cool.
I think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna go to the Ring of Honor brand per se. I think they're gonna come back, but I do think they're going to be, like you said, a heel faction. Their whole gimmick, I think, is going to be lording over the Elite. We are the Elite. We are the E in this company. This company wouldn't exist without us. Potentially even being sort of a Bullet Club in AEW, coming in and exerting their control. Maybe even playing in a power struggle. like we're executive vice presidents, right? Tony Khan might be the owner, but we have power and we're going to start using it and start throwing their weight around that way. An important, interesting thing, though, in the AEW promo with the Thanosing away, Hangman Page Thanos away with them. So do we think Hangman is going back to the Elite? Now, Hangman's out currently recovering from that horrible concussion. So it might not be a while before he comes back. But when he does, do we think he's going to be on Elite side or anti-Elite?
I almost feel like maybe they did that promo before Hangman got injured, perhaps. But I think it's more of the message of you got rid of the Elite in All Elite, All Elite Wrestling.
They had
right?
a week and a half to change it, even if they did it before.
No, that's fair.
So
that's fair. But I think it's more just alluding to the message of you got rid of the whole group that started your show. You got rid of the Elite in All Elite Wrestling kind of thing. And Hangman, when he started, was part of the Elite and so on. So it's more of the message of you got rid of all of us and now, I don't know, you got rid of all of us. Now we're gonna get rid of you kind of thing or something. It's nothing without us. Because what was the messages that were? It was basically just stuff that they had said previously from wrestling promos and so on, right?
Yeah, it was just like them announcing All Elite Wrestling, and then they disappeared. I mean, there was nothing in it that was specifically targeted at people because it was all just like, we're gonna bring in the Elite wrestlers. Then they disappear. And then it was like the match where Hangman Page and Kenny Omega won the tag championships, and then they Thanos away. And then it was all of the Elite standing in the ring together, and then they Thanos away. And then it's Kenny Omega standing there with Don Callis holding up the AEW championship. And then he Thanos away. And then it was a picture of them all from being the Elite when they all got their text messages. That said double or nothing, and then Hangman Page got the text message that said AEW on it, and then they Thanos away, right? So there's nothing specifically aimed at any person, because again, this isn't a planned storyline that they planned 3 years ago before they launched AEW, right?
Right.
So they just had to pick and choose from what they had.
Fair. So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, like I said, that they're going to come back. They're going to be the heel faction. I think they're going to throw their weight around, and they're going to try to exert some control, and that we're going to have a storyline of effectively the NWO, the Elite trying to run the place, and then the AEW non-Elite originals trying to defend it from them, sort of a thing. Effectively, I think they're pivoting the storyline from CM Punk, because I talked about the storyline that it looked like they were doing, the CM Punk Invaders versus the All Elite originals, sort of a thing. That now instead they put the Elite versus the people who were not part of the Elite that were brought in, right? That's what I think.
Fair enough. Yeah. And that's why I think ROH works perfectly into that, because you have Jericho, who's the champion. You have Daniel Bryan maybe potentially going to be a champion if he beats Garcia, if they do anything there. Who else? You have, don't you have another XWB guy in ROH?
Samoa Joe.
No, Samoa Joe. So I don't know. I feel like
against Brian Cage. That is. Brian Cage is challenging tomorrow night or tonight for
tonight. Now it's tonight for sure.
It is now tonight.
Yeah, I'm curious though to see how they do it, but I imagine it would be kind of a heel a heel thing like that where they're going against the company that they created essentially turned their back on them, and then they're going to go full-fledged heel, maybe even Bullet Club-esque, if you will, kind of like NWO. So, Fabe, along the same lines, I guess.
Yeah, I was there. I was there before. Yep.
So, then the last one that I wanted to talk about, we'll find out in, I don't know, whatever it is, 17 hours from now, whatever it is. The current Ring of Honor World Champion, Chris Jericho, the Wizard, the Ocho, announced last week that he is going to defend this, and he's going to destroy Ring of Honor, and by doing that, he's going to defend this against a Ring of Honor champ. So the question is, who do you think the Ring of Honor champion that they're going to bring in this week to face and most likely lose to Chris Jericho? Now, keep in mind, they've got former Ring of Honor World Champions on the roster right now, like Roosh, like Matt Taven, who just got signed, like Jay Lethal, like Christopher Daniels, like Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly.
Adam Cole doesn't work. He's still under concussion protocol.
He could clear that at any time. That's beside the point. Jay Briscoe is a former world champion, and they do have them under Ring of Honor contract, the Briscoes. Davey Richards is not under AEW contract, but he is potentially available. Austin Aries is technically available. Please don't be him.
It's all a work, and it's CM Punk.
Jerry Lynn is technically available because he works backstage, but he did just get pile driven onto the Ring of Honor Championship.
Malachi Black is available.
Yeah, Nigel McGuinness.
Was he a champion though in ROH?
Tyler. What was his name before?
Tyler Black was Seth.
Tyler Black was Seth. He was Tommy End, but I don't know if he was
Tommy
ever Ring
End.
of Honor. I don't see him on the Ring of Honor Championship list. So
Okay.
Samoa Joe could make sense though.
Jonathan Gresham.
Jonathan Gresham is an option. Bryan Danielson is an option.
Maybe Tony Khan was about to talk to him.
I
Finally spoke with him.
I mentioned Nigel McGuinness, who is no longer under WWE contract. He also has not been cleared to wrestle for a long time.
But you know, WWE doctors, they never clear people to wrestle.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, Nigel McGuinness is an exceptional commentator, so you leave him as a commentator if you can.
yeah. But I'm saying he's a potential option. Low Key is out there on the indie circuit and was the inaugural champion. If you really wanted to throw this whole sports entertainer beating Ring of Honor champions, beating the original one, the inaugural one, is not a bad potential
That would
choice.
really, yeah.
I see it as a take the low road, so I don't think it's Bryan Danielson.
One that's kind of my thing. Claudio Castagnoli is also one, but he just beat him for it.
I again see him as this is a take the low road.
Mm-hmm. Also, importantly, whoever does get thrown is going to lose to Jericho.
Right.
And that's why I see it as a take the low road. The easiest path possible in Jericho's mind to do so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can even bring in Low Key for a one-off thing.
That's why I think Low Key is a potential.
You know what I mean?
Technically, right now, they have the rights to CM Punk's name. He could say it's CM Punk and then not have CM Punk show up. See,
It's just a lawsuit waiting to happen, bro.
James
They have the
Gibson.
rights to his likeness.
James Gibson, also known as Jamie Noble, is a former champion. Not gonna be wrestling, but I'm just pointing out he's an option.
I think low-key is, honestly, he's the first champion. That just speaks volumes.
Homicide's a former champion and also would be someone that could lose and
It wouldn't hurt anything.
you know, I point out Roderick Strong is technically a former champion, but as far as we know, he is still signed to NXT, although we haven't seen him in fucking forever. So,
Maybe he was silently let go.
we cannot 100% say that he wasn't, but I think it's doubtful. But so, you know, Adam
There's
Cole,
also the option to have it be one of the side championships.
that is
so
indeed an
a
option to
pure
think
person.
about.
Oh, he didn't mention that it was World?
He specifically said
former ROH champion.
former ROH champion, which does
Oh,
open it up
Jesus.
to one of those other ones.
Okay.
But I will point out Bandito is also a former world champion and
But you just
did
fought him.
just get signed to AEW.
But he
I
just
don't see
fought
it
PCO,
being Bandito, Rouge.
yeah, PCO is a former champion and could easily lose to.
Easy phone call.
Yep. He did. We did recently have Dalton Castle on AEW. He's a former champion, who is currently unsigned. I don't fucking know why.
Wait a minute. Did Jericho say this? Like, does he know who the person is?
I don't know.
Given.
I'm trying to remember. He might have listed it as an open challenge to any Ring of Honor champion.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
So,
Because if he said it,
Which gives the room for him to
Then
say,
it's
no,
the
no,
low
no, no,
road.
no, no, not you. I have somebody else coming.
but let's just, for the sake of argument, say, it could be for one of the other Ring of Honor men's singles.
Hell, you could do it as a tag team person.
Yeah, but I'm gonna,
Mr. Daniels.
just for sake of argument, say men's singles, right? So the Ring of Honor television champion is currently Samoa Joe, but Minoru Suzuki is the previous one.
It won't be Minoru Suzuki.
Rhett Titus is a previous one. Dalton Castle, Dragon Lee is a Tony Deppen. Is an option. Tracy Williams is an option. Shane Taylor, who is a free agent. Jeff Cobb, who has appeared on Ring of Honor
I don't
or on
foresee that
AEW.
being-
I don't think so. It's not going to be Punishment Martinez.
No, Damian Priest won't be there.
It could be Silas Young. I doubt it, but it could be. Could be Kenny King.
That's a maybe. That'd be a hell of a signing for AEW, but I don't know that it comes across as an obvious win for Jericho.
Was Kenny Omega a champion in ROH?
Not world
I'm not talking
champion.
about Kenny. He wasn't world champion.
Nope.
I don't think he's been a TV champion in ROH.
I don't believe so on that either. I'm just looking here to be certain.
A
No,
single
it does not
champion.
look like he. I don't know if he ever. But he was mostly a New Japan guy who occasionally appeared on Ring of Honor.
ROH. Okay.
Kushida is a former television champion. Currently signed to New Japan, which they do have a working relationship with.
I feel like that would be more for a pay-per-view if they even do something like that.
What
though.
a gift to have a
He
chance
said
to see
doo-doo.
Kushida again.
Oh yeah, I'd love it.
Yeah.
I'd love it. Marty Skrull. I don't want to see him on my TV.
I don't
but
think that they hire.
a William Peter Charles Osprey.
Ooh.
It won't happen. He will see it as a threat.
Yeah.
This is his idea. It's gonna be somebody who he doesn't see as a threat.
It will not
If
be
there's
Bobby
a Petey
Fish.
Williams, if there's a Petey Williams in here, that's the chance.
It will not be Robert Anthony Fish, that's for certain.
No, definitely not.
He just
Tomohiro
burned his
Ishii.
bridge, like on fire.
Yeah, he poured gasoline in. Tomohiro Ishii is a former champion. Jay
I'm
Lethal,
sold on it
former
being low
television.
key, man. If he's still wrestling, first inaugural champion,
Ooh,
bro, let's go.
maybe he convinces El Generico to come out of retirement.
Dude, that would be hilarious.
You know
Imagine.
that's not hard to do. You just have to have somebody kind of wrestle
Like Sammy.
like El Generico.
Yeah.
Why would they wrestle like Sammy?
Because
Sammy
they
stole
kind of
his
have
moves.
this similar. Sammy stole his moves. He stole his entire moveset of El Generico.
He just
Sammy
changed it
Callahan?
from,
admit it.
Oh, you're talking Sami Zayn.
yeah, he just
Sami
changed it from the Yakuza kick to the Mafia kick or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Eddie Edwards was the inaugural Ring of Honor television champion.
Not
And,
a chance in hell he goes up against Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's still actively wrestling though.
And seems like a threat. Comes across as a threat.
Ring of Honor Pure Champion. This is a lot shorter of a list, right? Daniel Garcia. This could be one of those swerve things, where the finger poke of doom sort of moment.
With
Oh, yeah.
Garcia, an ROH champion, and I'm gonna put him to rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him to rest as he challenges for this. Wheeler Yuta, former Ring of Honor Pure. Josh Woods recently signed to AEW. We mentioned Jonathan Gresham before, Bryan Danielson before, Nigel McGuinness before, Samoa Joe before, Jay Lethal before, John Walters, who still apparently wrestles under the name RJ Brewer. I don't know him. Doug Williams. And AJ Styles, it's not going to be, so. In terms of pure wrestling champion, there's none that's going to happen. They could open it up to tags and be like, okay, we'll be one of FTR. We mentioned Jay Briscoe, but they could just beat Mark Briscoe and say he's a former tag champion. Matt Taven and Mike Bennett both recently got signed, and
There
they're
it is.
former tag champions.
One of those two.
Dragon Lee or Kenny King, we've mentioned both before. Dirty Chris Dickinson is a wrestler who's currently wrestling for Game Changer, GCW, or Homicide. Tracy Williams or Rhett Titus, we mentioned them before. It's not going to be Gorillas of Destiny. That's for certain. Right? Brody King was a tag champion with PCO.
I see it. PCO is an option.
PCO is a potential. I see a lot of things.
Especially
Motor
if
City
the group
Machine
jumps
Guns
in before it comes
are
up.
Motor City Machine Guns are prior tag champions.
I don't know. I don't think he sees Saban or Alex Shelley as a non-threat. It has to be somebody he thinks is a non-threat.
The Hardys are former tag champions.
Jeff Hardy
The
comes
Young
back.
Bucks.
I don't think Jeff's ready to
The
come back.
Addiction, which was Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. Could be either of those.
And I think he's more likely to see them as non-threats than the ones you've seen so far.
It is not going to be War Machine.
No.
We've already mentioned Kyle O'Reilly before. We've already mentioned Eddie Edwards or Davey Richards. It could be Rocky Romero. He has a relationship with AEW. And
Enjoyable to watch.
Alex Kozlov has retired, so probably not. Jimmy Jacobs. But if I'm correct, he's might still be in creative for Impact Wrestling. Steve Corino, semi-retired, so I don't know. He's currently a trainer for NXT, so it's probably not going to be him. Charlie Haas is a former tag team champion. It's not going to be Shelton Benjamin, his tag partner, though. So,
Charlie Haas might be a good move there.
Chris Hero. He partnered with Claudio Castagnoli to be Kings of Wrestling, so it could be Chris Hero. Could be Shingo. Shingo
Takagi?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm saying it could be. I'm not saying it's going to be, but it's definitely an option. Matt Sydal, we mentioned before, he's a former champion.
That might be it too. He might see Matt Sydal as a non-threat.
Tony Mamaluke is a former tag champion.
I wish there was a Rockstar Spud or a Petey Williams size guy.
BJ Whitmer.
Marco Stunt. I wish that he had been on a tag team that won it.
Rocky Romero's not particularly big, so that's a potential.
Yeah, but he's still a solid performer.
Colt Cabana is on multiple lists.
I don't see that being it either. I really like the idea of it being somebody who can't go right now. Adam Cole.
Amazing Red is a former tag champion.
That's a fun one.
So, and then Trios champions are going to have a lot of the same names.
Yeah.
Dalton Castle and the boys. He could beat one of the boys.
There you go.
You know?
Just, I'm laying it to rest.
Khan used to be a member of Shane Taylor Promotions, so it could be Khan. Ray Horace, Flamita, TK O'Ryan. Just going through. There haven't been as many trios champions, so
I want Samoa Joe's music to play and him to be like, no, you're a current ROH champion. You don't count.
yeah. So, I mean, technically, he could wrestle Mercedes Martinez.
There you go. Well, and so he says to Joe, you're a current one, you don't count. And then Bryan Danielson comes out and he goes, no. No, you're signed to AEW. That doesn't count.
Yeah. Technically, Deonna Purrazzo is a former Ring of Honor champion. So, you know. Not that I think that's going to happen, but, you know. Technically, Bandito is a Survival of the Fittest champion. And Alex Zane is an Honor Rumble champion.
I just feel like it's going to be minimalist. I like the idea of El Generico, though, because then you can just have anybody come in that's literally the name El Generico in the El Generico mask.
I wonder if Sami
that
Zayn
is
has
obviously
that
not
trademarked.
Sami Zayn.
I wonder. Sami Zayn might have a trademark. It'd be interesting to find out. I mean,
Really
you know, just
like
to be a
that
dick.
idea.
Like, hey, I'm going to trademark this name. You know?
Yeah.
Because that's the only connection he has. Really quickly, going to go through my last pack. Windy Chu in the middle of her sleeper move. Wild Boar. He is a wild boar. Jenny.
Jenny.
Did not go up in
Is that Electra Lopez?
Yes, Electra Lopez. Did not get to go up. She had to stay behind. Trent Seven. Couldn't get a focus. Flash Morgan Webster. Zoe Stark.
It's a fun card. I know you don't like her. It's a fun card.
Saray. Danny Luna. Another member of Legado del Fantasma, Cruz del Toro. I'm gonna assume it's pronounced Amale.
Not Amol.
Maybe Amel. I don't know. Rounding out the tag team, Katana Chance. Go with my Caden Carter.
You already had a Katana Chance, didn't you?
Nope, I had a Caden Carter, but not a
I thought
Katana.
you had.
Nope. A Bailey. My
Bailey booties.
green card
Buddies.
is a Brutus Creed to match up with my regular Julius Creed. And my NXT 2021 highlight, Finn Balor.
Boy, you're excited about that one.
That's a good one. I am disappointed that I didn't get one of the autograph cards or one of the Blaster exclusive memorabilia cards, but you know,
How many do you have more to go, though?
that was the last pack.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Did not get one of those. I was robbed.
Blind.
Yeah. Anywho's. But on that note, we've gone about an hour longer than we normally do. I think that helps
Makes
make
up
up
for
for
it.
us.
Yep.
No games tonight.
Yep, no real games. We're just gonna. The game is gonna be: can I fall asleep in time before my alarm goes off for me to go to work tomorrow?
God, it's almost 3 a.m. here. Jesus.
Midnight chilling at 8 p.m. cool and drinking apple juice. Anyways,
Please, yeah.
I need medication. I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up for this episode of both WBU and FBI together as one. But we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna close the book. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I mentioned before, if you are not following us on Twitch, make sure to follow us on Twitch, because that's where you get to participate with the live stream. You get to watch and chat along and all that stuff. If you are a Amazon Prime member, you can even subscribe to us for free. Help us out that way. You can also help us out by hitting up the merch store, getting something. We got actually 2 of them, so you can choose which one you something like the Piss Ant Podcast hat, or a Seth Franklin Rollins shirt, or the Nebraska America's Belly Button shirt. I'm particularly proud of that one.
It's a lot of fun.
Or the autograph shirt, like I have behind me there. If you're going to a meet and greet and you have a chance to get some autographs, that shirt's a wonderful way. I'm so happy with that shirt.
So are the wrestlers.
Yeah, they loved it. They fucking loved it. So, but yeah, a great way to get some autographs on a shirt and have a.
I'm gonna
very
try
unique
to-
memorabilia.
I'm going to try to get that just in case I go to Elimination Chamber. At least I'll have it prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to spend the money to be on the floor?
Not the floor. Not the fucking floor.
No,
Whatever.
you're going
I'll-
to get a meet and greet if you're not on the floor, bud.
I stalk them before the show and say, "Hey, sign my shirt."
Yeah. Good luck with that. Anyways, no, seriously, good luck with it. You know, if you're gonna get it, go for it, man. man. But you can support us that way. You can support us in other ways by throwing some bits our way or subscribing to us, all of that stuff. There's even a way you can just send us a tip. Here's a buck or two. Toss our ways to help keep this thing going. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time for us to do this. 3 hours and 1 minute and 26 seconds to be precise today. So far, it's going up. 32, 33, 30.
Stop.
And it's and so it takes a lot of work to keep this going and a lot of work to pay for medication to keep me focused.
Which is clearly not working.
Focused. I don't have it. That's why I don't have it. I need it. First, I need to see the doctor, and the doctor has to go like this and go, you need this much medication. And then I go, okay.
Close the cast.
You're the one who brought it up.
I know, and I'm sorry.
Anyways, but that's a great way to support us in one of those ways. Whatever you can do helps. But like I said, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube and everything. You can follow me pretty much anywhere at Raw and Order WBU, except on Facebook where it's at Pissant Podcast because reasons. In fact, that at Raw and Order WBU is the new YouTube handle. So you can find us on YouTube at Raw and Order WBU. We post replays of this on YouTube, so it's a great way to watch it if you can't be on the live stream. But we highly recommend you come to the live stream. You can follow D.A. Fabe at
D.A. Vincent K. Fabe, and I also take tips in Ambien.
Mm-hmm.
We got
we
a JLB on here.
JLB shut his fucking camera off like a fucking noob.
Bam. Oh,
There.
look at
you
that.
can follow JLB at
Oh, almost. JLB on twitch.tv/JLBTLC25. Got me the new Modern Warfare 2. So I am playing the campaign, and I'm really slow. So, please feel free to help me out with the game. And, I would love your support there. Twitch.tv/JLBTLC25. I video game, and that's what I do. For the rest of the stuff, it is down below. I have watched a few movies, so I'm going to be reviewing those shortly. And, that's pretty much it. Back to you, good sir.
Boom.
Boom.
Sometimes he video games with Tetris, so don't let him try and convince you that he's like a real gamer.
Yeah. Video games.
Modern Warfare 2 is a legit game that came out.
I understand. I was just referring to
And
Tetris
also Tetris
and
and
Scrabble.
and
They're games.
was it Jeopardy?
Hey, what's wrong with Jeopardy? Knowledge is always power.
Knowledge is fine and everything.
We are familiar with knowledge. We live in Nebraska, where the N on our helmets is for knowledge.
Yeah, and for knowledge.
He didn't get it.
I got it. And for knowledge. It starts with a K. I fucking got it. Let's
You
fucking
start with
end
the
this
K.
fast.
Anyways, yes. But make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're going to go ahead and close the book on the Wrestling Booking Unit and the Fantasy Booking Institute. Thank you all for joining us.
Never again.
We'll see you soon.
On Sunday.
Thank you.